I see it? Oh, hey you guys, this is Liz with Window Tinting Queen. I'm here with Erik Devash, owner of Tint Wiz. You guys, many of you guys know Erik. We're just going to have, kind of interviewing Erik, have a, talk first. Oh, how do I turn it down from here? Oh, it is. Okay. All right. So, like I said, I have Erik on here. I'm super excited because, as you know, we all love Erik. I don't know anybody. If you guys watched my live chat today talking about Erik, we all love Erik. I don't know one person that don't. And if you don't, we don't need to be friends. So, Erik, thank you for being on my show. You're welcome. So, kind of my show is about getting to know you. Okay, so my question to you is, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up, maybe.
Sure.
Anything you want to share.
Okay, thank you for the kind introduction and kind words, first and foremost. And as far as the general summary of me, I am currently 37 years old, which means I was born in 1983. I am married. I live in Palm Springs, California. I grew up in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. I went to college in Orlando. I exited from Florida to California, lived in LA for about 10 years, and then recently moved to Palm Springs. And
growing up, were you part of like the cool kids?
Definitely not. Easy question there. No, definitely not. Definitely wanted to be. And I went to a very small school. So first and foremost, I went to like a very small private school in my area. The area we lived in was a nice area in Fort Lauderdale, but it had like the worst public schools. Like like super gang like type like bad public schools just like in that area. It just happened to be what was in that district. And there were
That's the
other
school I
areas.
went to then.
Yeah, so my parents knew that I wouldn't survive in that school, or at least didn't have the confidence in me. So they put me in a private school. It was a small school, and I feel like everybody gets along until like maybe like eighth grade or something, seventh grade, eighth grade, high school, and that's when I realized I wasn't part of the cool kids, somewhere in that range. So yeah, is what it is. I didn't play
Yeah,
any sports. I didn't like. My parents weren't. So what I started to realize was a lot of the kids knew each other because their parents would like do things, or they played sports outside of school, or they were in like some sort of club or event, or they went on vacations together, or they lived down the street from each other. And none of those things applied to me because we lived in this condo that was nice, but it was like for old people. So like it was like I grew up around people who were like retired only, like retired and up, like no kids, no one to run with, no backyard, no nothing like that. So it's not a like big deal, but since you're asking, like that's why I think one day I was like, wait a second, I kind of felt like maybe I wasn't as connected as I thought I was right around that high school age. In sports too, I feel like sports are a huge part of high school, any sort of sports and clubs, and I was just disinterested in any of them.
that's with my son right now. I mean, he's currently into just playing games. Doesn't want to play any type of sports or anything. But I came from a rough neighborhood. I mean, probably the school that your parents didn't want to put you in.
You got shot, right? I heard you on. I
Yeah,
heard you
I
on.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got shot. The bullets in my upper thigh. It was a drive-by. Um, it was the guy that I was dating. They were actually after him, and they happened to shoot up his car, the passenger side, the side that I was sitting in. It was kind of recalling the incident. There's some parts that my brain, it just, what's that called? It shut off. So I don't remember because it was that traumatic. And I think traumatic stuff, your brain tends to kind of like shut it out. So I don't remember the whole, like the day. I only remember getting in the car. Pretty much, we were just cruising in downtown Sacramento. Heard the gun boom, 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 and all of a sudden I'm like, I think I got shot because what happened was, you know how you have a Charlie horse? That's
Yeah.
what happened to my leg. I was like, oh my god, I think I got shot, and I didn't realize it until I was reaching down to kind of like with my hand. I didn't even know where I got shot. I was just kind of holding myself, and then I saw the blood in my hand, and I'm like, holy cow, I really got shot. And it was also embarrassing because when the cops came, they stripped me down. They cut out my clothes, like in front of everybody. They just and that part was embarrassing. But I kind of recovered from it, and I think as I have said, I think my mom, because my mom did pass away. I think my mom was watching out for me. I was pretty much going in the wrong direction, and with my life, I had a kid. My mom passed away when I was 17. I was with the child. And then reality pretty much hit me that forced me to grow up. And after I got shot, it just made me realize, like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You know? I mean, I am not going anywhere. Day by day, I was kind of like, where are we going to hang out? What were we going to do? I couldn't even take care of my kid. I actually had to give her to my aunt. And luckily, I had my aunt and uncle to take her in. But I was just that bad kid in the wrong direction. And once it happened, it pretty much made me realize, and life is precious. And after that, I think I slowly gained, what is that called? Just kind of like gain awareness of myself. But it was, horrific. And I think we have to go through that because I think if my mom was still alive, I wouldn't be who I am because I was totally spoiled. I mean, even though we came from a family with, we didn't have much money. She was a single mom. And I realized every relationship she was in, pretty much, all her husbands beat her up. And witnessing that, with your parent, it's hard for a kid. And well, that's enough about my life. We're talking about you. So, Erik, you said you're married. So how long have you been married?
About 4 years and change. Coming in on 5.
So your wife's name is Betsy, right? We
Yeah.
never really even see her.
Well, she was on an episode of Tint Wizdom earlier on in the series, probably in the episodes like 40 to 50, if I had to kind of guess. Somewhere in there, she's actually the guest. So if you
So you
want to
guys
get,
do work together, right?
we did work together. Yes, we did work together. And one more thing, real quick, if you'd like to meet Betsy, my wife, come to the Tint Off, the window film convention in Orlando. That's going to be an opportunity to meet her. So anybody wondering if she really exists, or meet her at the booth in Orlando in just a couple of weeks. So if you're not going, this could be a reason to go.
What
Amongst
was I
many.
gonna say? Yeah, so she
Working
runs the
together.
TintWiz app. She works with, that's what she does with you, right? She runs the TintWiz app, or does she have a separate job?
No, she does her own thing now. She has a YouTube channel. She is a Whole30 coach, which is like elimination diet or elimination food thing, where like it's basically processed foods for 30 days, or I'm sorry, unprocessed foods, whole foods for 30 days. And it's something that we actually did together a few years before. Like she just found out about it, we tried it together, and it changed my life. I mean, it changed her life, but she could talk about that. But for me, and I was only doing it because she was doing it. So she's one of those things where she's like, "Will you do this with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like whatever. And basically, it was just like, we ate like normal people. I feel like on the better side of normal people. We shop at good like restaurants. We like good food, but we just eat like normal stuff. And I had like, developed different like pains. Like I had wrist pain. Like I had wrist pain to the extent that like with my right wrist, I couldn't turn a doorknob some days. So like that just to me was like it stood out to me because I'm like my right arm is unable of getting me in or out of a room, and I'm like in my 30s. And then that was like in addition to like tons of back pain, hip pain, knee pain, and problems. And like it affected things because like I couldn't go hiking. I like didn't do things, and like I was in pain, so I was a grumpy shit. When you're in pain, you get grumpy. Like
Really? I can't even imagine you being grumpy.
I definitely can be grumpy. Like trust me. Don't forget, you only see a snippet, just a
Yeah.
snippet. Um, so the earlier hours of the day, the grumpiness level is higher. So anyway, point being, when we did this elimination diet, which wasn't hard, because when you say diet, it wasn't a diet like what people think of a diet, because you could eat as much as you want. I was never hungry. I ate tons of stuff, but it just had to be unprocessed foods. So like meat, vegetables, things that didn't come in packages for the most part, but you could eat as much as you want of it. So it was kind of like, cool. But anyway, by like week maybe two and a half, three, like most of the pain had gone away. Like I could jump up and down. Like it used to feel like I had needles in my back. And then when I started jumping up, like I could literally jump up and down. Like my wrist pain is gone completely. And this is something that like I had x-rays on. Like it wasn't something that was like a little thing. It's like I've seen doctors, they said, we don't know what's wrong. We can go in and like do a scope, and and then it's like, wait, so if I just eat differently, this goes away. And then I can say this too, since we did it, even so, like most of the time, I don't really follow that diet. I do better than I used to, but it's somewhere in between. A lot of the pains went away. Like once they went away for good, like once they went away, they never came back. But they wouldn't go, I had them for years until we did this. So like I owe a lot to it, and she ended up doing it many times. And then she became a certified coach so that she can like provide the best coaching to somebody else who wants to do this, because like she would tell her friends, right? Like, hey, this worked for me or whatever. They would try it. They'd love it. So it was just basically her way of like upping her education on it and like knowledge by becoming a certified coach. So that's like her main, I would say like main gig is coaching people through that process, which 30 days, but it changes. Like, so here's the idea, just to make it even more clear. By eating processed foods and doing, it's like an elimination diet, eating non-processed foods, no processed foods, you eliminate things like all the like breads, all the dairy, all the unnatural sugars. Like you can have fruit, but you can't have like, anything processed with sugar. So anyway, by doing that, then like once you do that for 30 days, it's kind of a reset to your body. You tend to eliminate things that may be triggering your body in ways you don't know. And then at the end of that 30 days, the idea is start to reintroduce the things that you want to eat one at a time. So you get an idea of like what's affecting you and what's not affecting you. Because what happens is, you grow up, you're just like you, and you eat the things you eat, but you don't really know if like one or two or a combination of those things or those things too much over time cause an effect on your body. You don't know. And like, it's actually like, it's one of those things like, anybody comes on like an infomercial and tries to tell you this, you're like, shut up. But like when you experience it and it changes the way you wake up in the morning, the way you sleep at night, the way you like literally spend your whole day not in pain anymore, thinking like, oh shit, my body's breaking down in my 30s, and then going, oh no, it's not. That was simple. Like it's a big deal, like to me. So anyway, that's the short answer to your question about what Betsy does.
I thought you guys worked together, so that was my other next question. Was I was going to ask you for advice.
So we did work together in Window Tint LA. So from just about the second year, the beginning of the second year, all the way until it was sold, we worked together very closely together. So I feel like I can still offer some advice on the subject.
Okay, so if you guys get in an argument, how do you guys resolve it?
I don't think I would be definitely open to her saying I'm not remembering, but I don't think we've ever gotten an argument regarding work. Like ever. Like not a single one. And again,
what about not about work, like just life?
Not about work, but not at work is what I mean. Because like at work, we were like the same way we were with like all our staff. It was the same way we were. We were there for the mission. We were there to get the job done. We were there for the company, and whatever that meant, that meant. But the same way, like I never argued with like my staff. Like there was no reason to. Like we never argued with each other. It was the same thing with her. There's never nothing because there's nothing to argue about, And I feel like a lot of the arguments come in general, like they can come from pressure. So pressure means like pressure can come a lot of ways. Pressure could be financial pressure. Like if we're not doing well enough as a company, we're going to be stressed about it and maybe we're going to argue. Or if we don't agree on the vision, maybe we haven't communicated with each other the vision or the culture of what we're trying to accomplish. If we don't agree, we're not going to know, like, I want to say my side, she wants to say her side, and who's right, whoever is like loudest or has the most energy, like that didn't exist because like she did her thing, I did what I needed to do, and if it was in my category, like she never questioned it, and if it was what she was doing, I didn't question it. And that's really how like I think you avoid things with work like that. At the same token, some of the things that transparently I'm like, it's the way I like choose to live my personal life and work life, is I think like with everything, like let's say finances, it could be personal finance or work finances. Like everybody has a different tolerance for finances, right? Sometimes some people feel confident in whatever amount they're saving. Some people would be panicked if that was the amount. Like it's all in their own head. Some people are more risk adverse than others and so on. Some people feel more comfortable with finances than others. Some people worry about finances. So I'm just giving that as one example, but because of that, like I always try to be like transparent with the company and personal life. Like, hey, this is where we're at. We're not millionaires. We're not on food stamps. This is where we're at. Like, but at the same token, I don't believe in like for everybody that like it made sense. Like it wasn't like everything we were looking at together. We weren't like, let's look at the finances together every week and every month. I feel better for that. So those were things that like I felt better equipped. She was doing a great job in building our office staff, running the admin team, and then also sales and sales team. So when she was doing that, that was my business. And like, of course, we worked together and I tried to give advice and wherever I can help. But ultimately, she knows what she's doing. And like,
Since you guys are married, do you have like, you guys have shared accounts or you guys have separate accounts and then a shared 3 accounts or?
Everything's shared, but like, everything's shared, but like it's not. I don't feel the need to balance the books together. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like out of sight, out of mind. It doesn't have to be in your sight.
You both are responsible, so that's how I feel. You don't care. She's responsible. You're responsible. Oh, how do you two met?
I love the way you do this, by the way. I almost want to comment at the end on the professionalism that you've put together, because you're showing me something that, like, if I saw this, I like the way the professional way that you've set this up that people don't see behind the scenes. I'm already like, holy shit, like, because I'm like, if you saw what I do compared to what you're doing, you are so much more prepared, and it's really cool for people who don't see. You should do a behind the scenes one. But
That's where Dave is. He always has to have things lined up. It has to go a specific way, and that's where we're the opposite. I'm like, go with the flow.
right,
You know,
right. See, that's a good example of what I'm
I
talking
can't
about,
spring
though.
things on him sporadically because he'll be like, wait a minute, you're kind of I'm off track here. You know.
Hey, look, that's what I'm talking about, though, with that sharing of things. You guys are putting on a show together, but you're doing your own parts of it. He's not telling you what to say. You're not telling him how to do the audio or the visual, but together you work really well, but you know what's going on and he knows what's going on. That's exactly what I mean. And it's just, I feel like applying that because, like, I feel like sometimes people try to be too 50-50 and like 50-50, like, sometimes there's divide and conquer. There's a time to be 50-50. There's a time to divide and conquer. And I'm just saying, I don't think there's like one way to do it. It's just like what works best for the personalities that everybody has, because everybody's personalities are different, you know? So I
I
think,
feel like, yeah, you could never have 100% of somebody, you know? It's always that 80% and the 20. It's like you either deal with it or you don't.
wait,
Nobody's ever going, yeah. Even
explain.
in relationships, you're never going to have 100% of what you're looking for. It's always either they're pros, like I was telling Dave, you know, we went through
I'm
something and I'm like,
100%. I got what I'm looking for, and you got 100% of what you're looking for with Dave. So let's back up from that. Let's take the bus backwards. What I'm simply saying is everybody's personalities are different. So sometimes you have a lot of peanut butter and almond butter. Sometimes you have peanut butter and jelly. Sometimes you got bread. It's just a matter of seeing where everybody fits in, and don't try to say, well, this sandwich is going to be 50% this and 50% that, unless that makes a perfect match. But if it doesn't, just, it's about knowing yourself and knowing your partner or your coworkers or whatever, I feel like, and everybody fitting in where they fit best. They're puzzle pieces. So like, don't shove them where you want them to be, put them where they go, and that makes the best picture.
oh, how did you and your Betsy meet?
Um, we met through mutual friends in LA. So when I moved to LA alone, like, when like somebody puts all their stuff and then ties it to a stick and throws it over their shoulder, that's what I did. And I just went to LA, and I didn't go back, basically. I mean, I've been back, but I was like, let's see what this is like. And then I decided to stay. So I didn't really know anybody. And coincidentally, I barely knew somebody. So I had met somebody in my life that actually did live in LA. And then through that person, I ended up meeting Betsy. And then over time, we developed a friendship and then a romantic relationship. And then eventually we became married. And then here we are today.
How did Dave and I meet? We found Match.com.
Did you? That's awesome. How long ago?
Yeah. We're going to be celebrating our 14 years. Yeah, so we've been together 14 years. When we met, it was so funny because I just got out of a relationship. Wasn't even too long. They had my coworkers. I was always skeptical, about like meeting people online and weirdos and things like that. And then most of my coworkers actually had, what is that called? They met their significant other through, these online dating apps. And they pretty much told me about it. And I decided, because they were Match.com had like a 3-month trial period, I went in and registered. So I'm like, what the hell, Yeah. And so I met a few weirdos, went on a few dates, and it was only kind of a month into it. He, what is that called? He messaged me and kind of said, beautiful smile or something on one of my pictures. Because you could pretty much, I love the fact that you could list everything you're looking for in a person, and you could kind of tell them a little bit about yourself. Right. So I'm always honest about, I think I even put my salary, of what my job description was. I was a project controls engineer at that time. I had kids. I was a single parent, and things like that. So I listed all my qualifications, like you're filling something off of a job application. And like I said, I met a few weirdos. I went on a date. I want to say, I'll give you an example. One guy, we went to watch a movie, and after the movies, he was like, okay, you drive me to my car. So he got in my car, we drove, and I drove him to his car. The dude didn't want to get out of my car. So we kept talking and talking and talking. Finally, I was like, I'm sorry, I have to kick you out. He was just being that weird and, kind of persistent. Like, can I call you? Can I this and that? And I'm just like, yeah, sure, and then it was done. And then after just a few dates, I was ready to close my account down. And here comes this guy that kind of dinged me and said, hey, you have a beautiful smile. So I'm like, okay, what's this guy all about? And I don't know if it's with guys, but us girls, we know our good angles when it comes to taking pictures, okay? So one of his pictures was like the weirdest. He just had his braces taken off. So he used the picture at the dentist office where you're at a background in a white screen going like this. So that was one of his profile pictures. So I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this weirdo. Okay, let's see what he's all about. And so I dinged him and I went to read his profile and he kind of put down that he wasn't looking for someone that had kids. And so now I guess, I didn't realize, but on the questionnaire that it asked you, do you prefer someone with kids or without? So it didn't give you an in between. So he kind of said, without. So that was, kind of his response to why he chose that answer. And so we met up, I think, we talked on the phone a couple times. And at that time, like I said, I was a single parent. I was going to school because I was getting my bachelor's degree. I was working full time. I had my daughter, that was pretty much taking care of my younger son, and she was Brittany was like 12, 13 at that time. And horrible parent, I left her alone because I was going to night classes. So you shouldn't leave a kid alone at that young watching another kid, okay? But my daughter is super just mature for her age. And so we went on a date and we talked first for I want to say maybe 2 weeks. And I didn't want to meet up with him because I'm like, what if I don't like physical attraction? It's something, if you're not attracted to someone, no matter how great, I feel like no matter how great the conversation is, you can't force yourself. That physical attraction has to be there. And so I was just afraid.
90 Fiance?
Huh?
No, I said, have you seen, some of those people seem like they're forcing themselves, but go ahead.
Yeah, and so I was like, no, I don't want to meet you. And he basically told me straight up, like, I'm not trying to have a friendship. I want to have an actual relationship. So if you don't want to meet me, we're just going to end it here. So I'm like, holy cow, because we were having such great conversations and stuff. And our workflow and just our time frame really matched each other because he was running his business 7 days a week. I was going to work full time and I was going to school at night. So I really didn't have that much time to really dedicate to someone, And so just kind of our time frame at that time, it really matched. We matched each other. And so he wanted to meet up. And then we met up at a sushi place. After 2 weeks, I agreed. And then when I met him, I was like, holy cow, he looked a lot different than in his pictures. And he was handsome. I was attracted to him, And then from there on, I guess we dated for, I want to say a couple years. And then I kind of, my work, I got laid off and they actually offered me a position. And I was kind of discussing it with him, like, do I rent out my house and kind of just move in with you? It just made sense to me. And at first he was totally against it because he had a roommate that lived with him. And I kind of had to convince him like, hey, it could actually work or, we should just part ways then, if it isn't going to work and I can't move in with you. And then took off from there. Because when I moved in, I really did get involved with the business until later on. I pretty much just kind of sat back. I didn't really have to work if I didn't have to, So I kind of just kicked back and watched his business. And the only reason why I got involved was because we had a negative review. Okay. We had a negative review on Yelp and someone pretty much came in and said they walked in and I guess the tenter that was there, because Dave went off to do some errands, couldn't tent a back window. And so that kind of hit me like, holy crap, why not? I just thought that it was something that I felt like I can contribute to his business. So then I kind of got involved and it just took off from there. That's where artistic is with, I don't own it. Dave is the sole owner of the business. I'm just, someone that actually works for him, truthfully. But, people think I do call shots because,
You are wearing the crown.
Huh?
You are wearing the crown.
Yeah, so I am wearing the crown, but I do kind of call the shots, with things that go on and stuff like that. And I'm great at what I do. So he kind of lets me take charge.
You guys So
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a Shih Tzu, and
Oh,
then I have a new dog that is undetermined its origin.
oh, okay. Where'd you pick that dog up?
So our
Oh, sorry,
first
yes.
dog we got from a Craigslist ad, and she was in East LA with a family that gave birth to her, and they were they were getting rid of her a little young, so we got her around 4 or 5 weeks. But
Aw.
yeah, and then after we got her, we kept in touch with them, and they ended up like giving the rest of the litter to a puppy store, and then gave the parents to like the shelter. So you know, kind of sucks because we wish we had our whole family now, but we just have her. But yeah, she's the best thing ever. And
Aw.
we recently tried to do the same by adopting a dog from the shelter that was a stray. But you know,
What? How's it going?
it's going all right. It's not the same.
Yeah. Our
10 out of 10 for sure. It's 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, but I like to treat it like it's 1 out of 10 so we know there's room for improvement. Even so it's 10 out of 10, there's always room for improvement. So if you have any ideas, I'm always open to ways we can improve puppers' lives.
we had our dog, and it was just a funny story because she was meant to be ours. Dave's friend was actually giving away his dog, which is a Lhasa Apso. And, we went to meet it and everything. He fell in love with the dog. And then guess what? He decided he didn't want to give her away. And so I'm like, I fell in love with the breed. Like, that's all I want is this dog. I want a Lhasa Apso. So I'm searching online and just everything. And then a customer came in and wanted their windows tinted. And Dave's like, he goes, do you want to barter? And Dave, normally he doesn't barter work or anything like that with people. And he's like, I have a dog that I want to give away. And Dave's like, well, my girlfriend does want, she wants a dog, but she wants a specific breed. She wants a Lhasa Apso. And he's like, that's a dog I want to give away.
No
So
way.
we're like, holy yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, she was just meant to be ours.
Oh, they're basically the same, Shih Tzus and Lhasa Apsos.
Yeah, they're so lovely dogs. I mean,
Hang on.
when we fight, we're like, who's gonna get the dog? Where did he go? Oh.
So, our good friend David and Michelle, good friends, her dad makes wood, like
Oh.
so this is
Wait, you're zooming out. Like, okay.
yeah, it's made of all of wood and with no dyes or stains, and it's of our little puppers, and it's all different types of wood. That's where the colors come in. So yeah, and I have this here so you can see. It's just some of my memorabilia.
Dogs just give you that, huh?
Carlos is asking, Erik, your character and profile picture has your puppy with you in it. Why is this important to you, and what does your doggy mean to you? Dogs mean to you.
What does your dog mean to you, Erik? And what's your dog's name?
Minuscule.
Minuscule.
The second
What's
one,
wrong with that name?
the newer one's not worth mentioning. The name, it doesn't matter.
What?
I'm just saying, we'll just stick to minuscule for this conversation. There's no point. Carlos said, "What's the most spoiled thing you've done for your dogs?" I mean, I just feel like I really try. Like, I think ultimately it's that I try to, I look at my dog like a sweet soul trapped in a little doggy body. It doesn't really have much access to anything. She can't reach the door handles. Things are high. She relies on us for food and water. She probably doesn't know what the hell's going on. Most people don't know what the hell's going on in life, let alone if you wake up one day and you're a dog. So I feel like our job is to take the absolute best care of her, show her the most love, and really be there for her. And, that's it. Like, I feel like, even compared to a person, like you and I can communicate. If I scare you or like shock you or anything I can explain it to you and you can understand. They can't. So like I feel like it's even more important to know how you're acting around them because you can't necessarily explain or say sorry or whatever. So, Like if I was a dog, how would you want to be treated in a world full of humans? How would you want to be treated, you know?
I
So,
think Dave spoils our dog, okay? Because I don't feed her off the table, and he does. So she's more at like she knows too, like when he's at the table, she'll scratch at his leg until he gives her something. But when I'm sitting there, she kind of like waits patiently. If I give her something, I give it to her. If I don't, I don't.
they know what's going on. They know who's who and how to get what they want from everybody individually.
Yeah. And then I feel like she just loves both of us the same level, because if he's not home and I'm home, she will pretty much, if I'm in our master, our bedroom, she'll lay in the middle of the hallway to see the door, so when kind of like watching out when he's gonna be home. And then once he makes it home, then she'll kind of come over, come in the room and lay down with us. So she's more at ease when the both of us are at home. But she's getting old to the point where it's sad because she's having hearing problems.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's already, how old is she? Like 15, 14? Yeah, she's like 14 years old. So she's getting up there. But I've heard that Lopso Opsos and Shih Tzus, they live for a long time. I think we met a customer that had one, and it was 25 years old.
Wow.
And it had like vision problems. They had to do like special accommodations for it, and stuff like that. But they live to be, very old dogs. But they're the only ones that I feel like, when I'm sad and stuff, she's the only one that really like understands, that will come to me, and she can read my energy,
Yeah.
that can make you feel better. So with kids, when are you guys planning on having kids?
I don't know. It could be any time now. Who knows?
I think with Dave, I already had 2 kids. So Ava, our little one, is his, but I think he had some convincing. Like for him, he was always like, no, I want to wait, I want to wait, I want to wait. So it was really up to him. He wouldn't have any kids as of right now. So with you and Betsy, are you guys on the same terms with having kids?
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely on the same idea. That's probably why we haven't had kids yet, because we're both kind of like, could happen, could not. We could have kids, we could not have kids. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be never. Never know.
What do you guys normally do on like date nights? You guys have date nights?
We have date nights. We definitely have date nights. I feel like this is like a setup or something.
I want to learn. I want to, you're so great at like what you do is giving advice. I'm trying to learn.
Oh, well,
I have a question.
Give Dave some tips.
I have a question. I was just curious, for what the man that we think has everything, what things have your wife or family or friends bought you as a gift? Like, what things would you like? What things do you want, or do you have everything?
Yeah, if someone was to buy you a gift, what would it be? What do you want, Eric?
Okay, so
you have given so much to people. So if someone said, I want to buy Eric something, what would it be to make you happy? Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. You have to say something.
I'm just saying, like, I'm definitely a difficult person to shop for, because if I want something,
you just buy it.
It's not that it's like if I want it, I just buy it. I don't really want a lot of things.
Yeah.
So like the things that I do want, I'll get. So like I'll give you an example. Like I always have a new iPhone. If a new iPhone comes out, I'm getting a new iPhone. I don't care. I'm getting it because to me, I'm always on my phone. It's work. Why would I not have the newest, fastest? Even if it's like if I shave a second off of things, I'll shave a lot of seconds. New iPhone. Like the computer, that's important to me. Other than that, like I kind of wear the same clothes. Like I don't really I have like one pair of shoes, one pair of sunglasses. Like I don't really I drink the same coffee every day. Like that's just there's not a lot to it. So like now to answer your question, if somebody was like, how can I buy you? And I just want to put a smile on Eric's face, it's going to be probably a brand new or something fairly new, like Porsche. That's probably
Porsche. Okay, we're gonna have a GoFundMe for Eric's Porsche.
If you get the Porsche, and then I can mention a few other ones, but Porsche is on the lower range. That's to where I'm just saying, if somebody's like, how do I really make Eric happy? But you see, there's a big gap because it's like iPad or like MacBook Pro, I have it, $2,000. then there's a big gap to the things that I want, but I don't buy. And that's where that gap is like, all right, so
you remind me of Dave. You so remind me of Dave because he's exactly like that. The guy could be a millionaire and he doesn't care about anything. He'll drive his raggedy ass Scion. He has a pants that he's had for over, I want to say maybe 30 years. It has holes in it and shit. And he's like, I wonder if my mom could sew this together because it has rips. I'm like, babe, just buy new ones. Oh my God. And he wears the same type of clothes every single day. He doesn't care about clothes. I mean the stuff that he wears, you're exactly
clothes is definitely clothes is a psychological one, I feel like, and from my experience, because there was a time where I spent a lot of money and how I dressed. And it's very clear to me that was driven by the perception of like social status and acceptance and so on. No question in the world. I think I knew it at the time, but I definitely know it then. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just don't feel that way anymore. And what I do feel is I want to be really comfortable, and I want to be like warm if it's cold out, or cold if it's warm out. I want to be comfortable temperature wise and material wise. That is the most important thing to me, like that my shoes don't hurt my feet. Like there was a time where I'd buy shoes that hurt my feet, but they look cool. Now there is no chance that I'm going to put on shoes that hurt my feet. It's bizarre.
That's why I don't wear high heels anymore.
So it's just that. It's not like a thing. Like it's just not interesting to me. But I'm not saying like if it is interesting to somebody that's like not a good thing. It is a good thing. Everybody should have their hobbies. Everybody should have the things they like to buy and like to collect, or things that make them feel good and so on. I just want to be super transparent about that, because I think sometimes people be like, oh, that's how I used to feel, as if it's like, I feel like everybody should feel how they feel. It doesn't matter what order it comes in or when it is. It's all experience of life. So like,
I'm going through a thing where it's minimalism. I mean, of course, my makeup and my perfume collection doesn't apply, but like, with like household items and just things around the house, like with Dave, I know he loves to be just super clean. Like when we come home from work, our house is our sanctuary. So when we come home, our house, I'm not going to lie, it's clean 24/7. Okay. So when we do the dishes, it gets put away. I cook, I clean, I wash, I put it away immediately. Our sink never has any dishes in it. Or that's why when people are like, oh, when you take pictures and things like that, is it staged? No, it's not staged. That's really how we live. My house is clean 24/7. Did I used to be that way? I did. I remember kind of growing up, even though like I said, I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I grew up with parents on welfare. I didn't really have much. So it wasn't much for me to clean. In my bedroom, I had a bed. I had a dresser. I didn't have much clothes. I didn't have things that I could just go, buy and decorate or anything like that. But I always felt content with what I had. I was happy because my mom was that typical Asian mom where she did she would do like a 5-course meal in the morning for breakfast. Before I even left to go to school, I would eat a 5-course meal, freshly made by my mom. And then when I would, go to school, I never really was into American food up until I want to say maybe after like my teen years. But when I came home again, my mom would reheat the food. I would have like a fresh course meal to eat. How I was living my life. I was that, person that you said had to buy the newest item, the newest this, the newest that, wasting money on frivolous shit. And then now, since I'm practicing minimalism, it's like, with our house, we barely have, in our living room, I don't know if you've seen pictures, but we just have a couch and a TV. I don't have anything out there that's going to cause, like I said, I want to walk into the house with the workload that we have, it's stressful. Yeah. And so once we make it home, it's like we could just kind of put our stress at the door, walk in and be able to just kind of like go into the sanctuary and not having anything to kind of stress us out. So like I said, a messy kitchen with things out and open, it kind of causes me stress and anxiety. So the way, I kind of built the way we live our life is, like I said, my house is clean 24/7. My youngest, since 5 years old, she actually washes her own dishes. She'll come downstairs even today. She's 7 right now. But in the morning, I wake her up. That's kind of our routine. She'll have a book in her hand because she's not allowed to be on any type of, iPad, television, or anything like that. So she'll go downstairs, kind of, I'll make her, you know, either oatmeal or cereal. She'll have the two sitting there for her to eat. After she's done eating, she washes her own bowl. I don't have any drying racks or anything like that. I don't use my dishwasher just because kind of growing up, we always did dishes, and I don't feel like it's clean enough if I don't do it by hand. And so I always taught my kids how to do dishes by hand. So with my, you know, since she was 5 years old, like I said, she'll like kind of, you know, do her own dishes and she'll put it away. So that's how our kitchen is always clean 24/7. I don't like having anything out on my counter space because I feel like that's clutter, stress.
Yeah. Yeah. Efficiency too. Like if you go to get something and it's like it's where it's at, you're not looking for it. You're not running around. You're, you know, it's a good
Yeah,
thing.
even that Maria, what's her name? Maria Kondo. Yeah, Marie Kondo. You know, I watched her, excuse me, her YouTube channel.
Okay, the
And
cleaning
then when
organization lady.
Yeah, so when I watched her YouTube channel, I actually got rid of 80% of my closet. And so if people feel like, oh, Liz, you're always kind of wearing new things, not really. I mean, I do, but I do get rid of stuff. Just because, you know, I don't want to have things laying around that's not useful to me. So I have like even my daughter's clothes and things like that. I have a friend that I give it to. So when I bring new things in, old things always have to go out. You know, I don't feel comfortable having just clutter around the house.
Yeah.
How's your house?
My house is somewhere in the middle. It's mostly clean. It's on the minimalistic side. I would say that I used to be super paranoid about like everything being like exactly where it needed to be, like nothing out of place, not like a piece of dust. Like I was super like that. And then I don't know, over time, like I think like, you know, living with someone, like you both could be on that exact same page, but more likely like, you know, there's some sort of middle ground or it's just different. You get busy. Then we went through the stages of like when we're at work from like, we used to leave for work at 6 a.m., get home at 8:30, 9. And then we do that 6 days a week. The seventh, I'd work from home from 7 to 7. So like, I guess I got a little more used to things not being perfectly in place. So, you know, it's almost like the tide, it gets perfect. And then maybe a week goes by, it gets a little bit unperfect, and then it gets perfect again. And it's kind of, so it depends on the day you walk in, but it's never, it can't be out of hand. Like, I'll tell you, like,
You have
the
a
counters
cleaning
are always
person?
clean. Say what?
You have a cleaning person?
No, no. I like one, but I don't necessarily like want, I don't really, like, it needs to be the right person to come in the house and touch everything and so on. It's just not as big of a deal, I guess. Like, what I'm saying is, it was a super big deal to me. I like being organized and efficient. My desk is pretty much always clean, floors, like the basics. But when things do get out of place because we're busy or whatever, I don't really sweat it anymore because I don't want it to be like inefficient. I don't want to walk into a mess. I don't want to like not have counter space to put something on. But like if things are like not perfectly put away or whatever, like I'm like whatever. Like I have how many years left? Do I really care about how like something be on the counter today? Like I just mean, you know, it in the grand scheme of things, I felt like it was not even, it's not worth the energy even like that I used to put into it because I used to put a lot of energy into like I feel like, you know, the anxiety you might get when things are messy. I get that anxiety for things you'd want to keep it that way. So it's like you're not, even when they're clean, you're not free of that anxiety because you want to keep it that way, if that makes sense. Like I used to.
Yeah, I do. I get it. Yeah, because if I'm going to bed and there's like, there should never be dishes or anything like that. Sometimes Dave does bring things out of his office and puts it on in the sink. And I'm like, I got to wash that before I go out to bed because.
So, right. So that's what I mean. Like if I'm on the sofa and I had like some food or whatever, yeah, I'll eat on the sofa. That's another example. I don't give any fucks about eating on the sofa. That's why I have a sofa. And what I'm saying is if I like have food and I'm done, and I'm gonna go to sleep, or I start to fall asleep.
You don't have kids. That's why you don't get fussed about eating on your sofa.
That food is going to stay on the sofa until the next morning, and I'm going to sleep very soundly. And when I wake up in the morning, probably the first thing I do is to clean up all the stuff from whatever it was. But what I'm saying is, I'm not like, oh, even so I'm sleepy, I got to clean up, I got to wipe down the couch. No, I don't care. Who cares? And like, you know, I grew up where like my parents would have freaked out. Like there's no chance, there's zero chance of that happening. They'd have been like, you're going to have bugs, you're going to have ants, you're going to have this. I haven't had ants. I've never had ants.
It's happened
never
to us. We've had ants.
I believe you can have ants, and I believe it depends on where you live and so on. But hey, I grew up in fear of ants my whole life, and it turns out it wasn't that big of a fear. Is all I'm saying.
My son is afraid of ants, which is weird, but he's scared of ants. And so I always tell him, you know, and that's the main reason why he's a 15-year-old, and he always cleans his dishes, he washes it, you know, because he's afraid. And I'm like, if you do leave it out here, just recognize that sometimes we can get ants and they're hard to get rid of. So with him having that fear, it's forced him.
You know, you could tell him too. If you get ants, then you have to kill the ants. That makes you basically a murderer. I'm just kidding. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. I'm just kidding. But seriously, I think about that sometimes. A bug comes in your house. I'm like, damn it, now this bug came in here. Now I got to kill it, right? Because now what are you going to do with it? Support it for the rest of its life? You got to kill it.
That's why we have what is it? Pest control. Yeah, we have pest control that goes around our house and kind of sprays it once a week to make sure we don't get domesticated.
Once a month, they spray around the house. It's worth the $40 or whatever it is, and I don't think about it, and we don't have bugs. But anyway, I guess the point is, like, I think everybody, like, with cleanliness or dirtiness or whatever, it really is, again, psychological. So, like, be wherever your mind is at peace, whatever that looks like, you know?
Yeah, with me, I mean, no matter how, like I said, I kind of just adapted to the Marie Kondo, you know, lifestyle and stuff. And it's pretty much brought me peace where I can, like I said, enter my house. I just feel like everything's at its place. I'm calm. I could sit down. I could relax, you know, watch TV for an hour without having to worry about cleaning the kitchen, cleaning this and that. We do have cleaners that do come over and do the basic cleaning, which is scrubbing the toilets, you know, doing the floors, you know, mopping the floors and things like that, cobwebs around the film.
How long do they spend doing that, would you say?
I want to say a few hours.
So like maybe 3 hours?
Yeah, or whatever.
So in 3 hours, you could tint 3 cars. That'd be $1,500 in revenue.
It is pretty much worth it. Yeah, it's worth it to have them. You know, in our opinion, it's worth it. But it does stress me out because Dave's always like, the cleaners are coming on Monday. Make sure everything's, you know, blah, blah, whatever.
Like that. I don't dance like that.
So he doesn't dance like that. But, you know, we're always like, okay, everything's tip-top shape. You know, the closets, our doors are shut where you don't want them to go in. You know, my makeup area, the drawers are shut, you know, and things like that. So we prepare to when the cleaners are coming to be extra clean.
Yeah, I want a cleaner. I just want somebody who's going to come every time. I want it to be them. I don't want it to be a service where they send somebody new every time, and then that's it. So once I find that, I agree. I think that's the best. Like to have somebody do it because it's a best use of your time, right? They know
it is. Yeah, when you do calculate, you know, with us, you know, kind of being busy all the time. It's like, how do you keep up with housework? How do you keep up with, you know, things like you have to have clean. We have a pool. We do have pool service. We have a yard. We have yard service because we don't have time to do it. And then when we do have time, we just want to relax. It's stressful to say I have to mow my lawn when I am, you know, I'm off work. I have to clean my pool when I'm off work. It's like when we are both off work, we could pretty much just kick our feet up and relax and not have to do anything.
You know, those are those little quality of life things. Like I have a pool and we have a yard guy because I want to enjoy my pool and my yard. And that means that in the little bit of time I have, I want to look at it or use it.
Yeah.
If I don't have a yard and pool guy in the little bit of time I have, I'm going to spend maintaining it. What happens, I feel like then is your mind goes to, you know what? I don't need a pool because all I do is spend time cleaning it. I never swim in it. Well, if you weren't cleaning it, you'd have time to swim in it. So like, you know, it's definitely smart to obviously like look, it's kind of like funny enough what we talk about in the window film industry, like in your shop. It's like people in general, like they're doing sometimes every single position. One person is doing every position. They're the cleaner, they're the greeter, they're the tinter, they're the person who invoices, they send quotes, they answer the phones, they do everything. Sometimes they even they do their own yard work at their shop. And it's like, well, start chipping away at that. you know somebody else can clean the shop or can cut the grass in front of your shop or blow your parking lot. You don't have to do everything. Start chipping away at those small things. It's the same in your personal life, like you just said. Chip away at the small things that allow you to have more time to do the bigger things in your life. Whether that just be spending time with your kid, getting an extra hour of sleep, whatever it is.
So what's your retirement plan?
Retirement plan. It depends how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy working. So like, I don't know where that is gonna lead me, but like, I 1000% like I need something to like keep me like energized, looking forward to. I need some sort of challenge to be working out in my head. Do you know what I mean? I need something that like when I'm going to sleep, I'm trying to figure it out and like so on. I need that sort of stuff. And I believe that if you don't have a positive, if you don't have that in a positive way, you'll make it in a negative way. So like what I'm saying is if I don't have enough like business challenge, I'll like create my own like personal challenge or problematic challenge or physical. Like I just believe you need something to do positive or else you just,
I agree.
You do bullshit. Like it's just how like people go, I guess. So like in my opinion. So I find that I'll always want to be challenged as far as like what that's going to look like, what year I would stop if ever. I don't really think I'll ever stop working retire, quote unquote, because I think retirement's kind of an older term. It's a term that like we know from like when you spend your whole life working for a company, then you tend to retire. At some point, you want to stop working for that company. They give you some pension maybe, and you go play golf. You do the things you wanted to do your whole life. But I feel like now, in the age we live in, entrepreneurism is a thing. We have technology that allows us to be anywhere and communicate. Jobs now, there's nothing like jobs look all different. Like it could be anything. They can be virtual. They can be anything. So like I don't know that myself or in general people are going to find themselves necessarily retiring anymore as much. Like as we look
not doing anything. It's like Dave's mom. She actually retired at a few years ago, and she went back to work because she was just bored.
That's what I mean. Find somebody who's retired doing nothing. And I say nothing. They're retired from work.
And you had no purpose in life. I feel like that. I feel like you.
Right. So what I would like to do, one of the things that Betsy and I have discussed is if we were ever in a financial place to be able to do this, the financial position to be able to do this, we want to do the Malibu Shih Tzu Rescue Farm. So the idea is we'd like to get a place in Malibu. That's more because, well, it's 50-50, I would say. It's partially because we really like and it's a very serene, peaceful place. It's low key. There's one street, basically one road in and out from a couple directions. So like you can't commute in and out of Malibu. Like you're crazy. So basically if you live in Malibu, you're in Malibu. You're either on vacation or you're like peaceful and like you're doing your thing. Anyway, and what we'd like to do is get a big plot of land there because that's how the properties are in Malibu. If you're not right on the beach, you have some land. They're big properties up in the hills. And we really like Shih Tzus. So we'd like to do kind of like a Shih Tzu rescue where, we can bring in Shih Tzus that don't have homes, that need a home to live, and they can live the rest of their life, potentially. Just Shih Tzus. They can live the rest of their life in Malibu with us. And, it's like a rehab piece. Let them live the rest of their lives out there for the ones who can't find homes,
Aww.
So that's like if we ever have enough money, you'll find us on a farm with Shih Tzus, maybe in Malibu, California. Who knows, though? It could be anywhere.
We have about 5 minutes to go, Liz, if you wanted to do the giveaway.
Ooh, there's a giveaway?
What should we do? Yeah, I always give away my mug, my kind of mug.
Did you ever mention your dog's name today, Eric, or no?
You did.
Yeah, I did.
So we can ask who remembers the dog's name.
Hey, can they hear you right now, Dave, or
yes,
no?
No, they can't.
See,
that's it. I'm like, I don't know whether to interact with you or pretend you're not.
I turned it up this time, yeah. So they can hear me, but yeah, like we said. So it looks like nobody's answered yet, but that should just first.
Okay, so the giveaway is, what is Eric's dog's name? And then whoever answers correctly will get a mug.
And if nobody answers correctly in the next couple of minutes, can Carlos win for the funniest joke?
Got a mug, though.
I know. I'm just kidding. Funniest joke. He said, "What do you get when you cross a bullshit and a shit? Oh no, a bulldog and a Shih Tzu." I gave away the joke. Fuck. Fuck that up. That was like a George Costanza.
We might have to ask an easier question.
Okay. What? Nobody was listening? Y'all weren't listening?
I forgot. I think I looked on Erik's profile
How
earlier.
long has Erik and Betsy been married?
There you go. How many days? I got a good question, whether it be for you or for somebody to win. How many days until the Tinder battles?
Yeah, how many days?
How many
Are you
days?
asking me or
Tinder
the
battles is
guests?
on the 12th and the 13th. Let's all try and get this right. It's 7, it's 14, 15.
I know this month
21,
is
20.
31.
Where are we? We're at
We're on the 16th.
7.
I had too much to drink, so I can't even calculate. Y'all do the calculations for me.
I think 27 is what I got. But Carlos,
Oh, is Betsy going to be at the Tinder battle?
TBD. We're trying to figure all that out. We have some logistics to work out because we're trying to do. Probably can't say for sure. Definitely in Orlando. Probably in Tinder battle. But yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna try and figure it out.
We've got no answers coming in. Maybe we should just ask the date or something.
When's the Tinder battle? And Carlos, you can't answer it.
Hey, real quick, other than you two winning the Tinder battle, what is there anything that stands out to you that you're like really looking forward to? Not like in a commercial way. I mean, like not trying to like, but like, you have kids. There's a kids like
We're
seminar.
not bringing the kids. It's just going to be us two. What we're looking forward to is basically meeting everybody because I've been in, these tint groups forever. I mean, I feel like since I beginning of my tinting career, I've talked to people only online. For me, it's going to be, I don't know, just that feeling where I get to meet the people that I've been interacting with, like Rick Tellman forever. We met Ralph Van Pelt because he actually came to visit us, and he stayed in. We had a rental property that wasn't being rented, and we actually had him stay, in that property when he came down to visit. But that's the only person I believe we met is Ralph. So everybody, including yourself, Donnie, of course, that's one of the person that's huge that I want to meet, shake hands, give a hug to, and stuff. But just everybody that I've been interacting with in the window film groups, I want to meet face to face and actually see them, because people, like you said, you only see a little tits and bits with people and what they share online. But someone in real life, like I said, Dave's like, probably I should be drinking. So, that's, you'll get to meet them and actually, like get the real version of who they are. Because with me, I connect with people's energy. I'm a leech. And basically saying that is I love interacting with people that I can learn from, that people are going to influence me in a positive way. When I feel like
as the
as a leech, I leech off of people like, hey, I want to kind of like pick your brains, and people like Carlos, like I mentioned, and people that are like you, of course, is one of the people I love and I admire. We didn't know who you were until you came out a few years ago. And just with your whole just demeanor, with how you represent yourself, you are a giver, and with the way I have mentioned, you are exactly the way Dave is. Dave is like you. He's always a giver. He's always, he loves to give. And then when you ask him, what do you want in return? Really nothing, but that's just his personality, his down to earth personality. I'm attracted to people like that. Like people that just love to, people with the whole positivity in them. And then when I do deal with people that have that negative energy, it's like I deal with it for a certain while, and then it's like I can't anymore. So with you, that's the next question. How do you deal with people with just negative people?
I don't know. Like, I guess when I have to deal with negative people, I try to look at it as like a challenge, in the sense like, if somebody's being negative, like they're not enjoying that for sure. Like, I don't believe they're enjoying it. Like, even some people are like, oh, I like acting. I don't believe anybody who's like putting off like a negative vibe is enjoying themselves, whether they realize it or not. So knowing that like that's how they feel, they're probably not enjoying themselves, and also knowing like if I am feeling like in a good feeling, like I want to maintain that. I just feel like, for the most part, you try to like, what's the problem? Like navigate through that issue, that negativity. Like, it just I guess depends on the context, but like try to either get them to see the light or try to not like try to get them what they're looking for. If like, sometimes people are being negative in there, like I'm frustrated or whatever, and it's like, oh, no problem. How can I help? What's frustrating you? Not being like, oh, why are you frustrated? Or, just don't kick back when people are.
I just don't. I just like, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I help, as much as I can, but there's only so much I could take. It's like, I'm good at cutting people off.
Like if you're talking like friends or something, like I don't have any friends like that. Like I don't want to, I can't maintain a friendship if somebody's negative. Like there's no friendship there. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I'll be there for you or whatever. If you hit me up, I'm gonna answer, but like I'm not gonna be like, yeah, we're boys, come over and hang out so I can fucking blow my brains out listening to you. Like there's no chance. Just because simply I value my time, and like if something's
take note of that.
If something's not enjoyable, like not everything's like super pleasurable, but if you're helping somebody, it should still be beneficial, like pleasurable. But what I'm saying is if it straight up sucks and it's a waste of time, I wouldn't do it no matter who the person is. Like,
I've got two questions. It's a two-part question for Erik. As far as number one, are you currently reading any books right now? As well as the second part of the question, what books might you recommend to people that you
All right, so I'm going to pull up the name of the book. That's why I'm grabbing my phone. I am currently reading a book. Now, what that means is I'm about 10 pages into the book. It means I'm about 10 pages into the book. It means that I bought the book for myself. And with that said, I've never finished a book. I can't even name a book that I've read. Like, I wouldn't even say I've read it. But the book that I actually purchased, probably like one of 4 in the last 10 years. It's called Death, an Inside Story. And it's a book for people who shall die, for all who shall die. So it's called Death, an Inside Story. And I'm probably like 20 pages into it, and I really like it. But man, getting me to read a book is like, it's way more likely to find me exercising or like anything. I don't even know. Like a book is so far down the list on things you'll catch me doing because like it's a little slow for me. Like I like listening to things because it's like fed into my brain a little faster, and I can do other things at the same time. A book takes 100% of my attention, and I feel like I can't read fast enough, and I'll either fall asleep or I'm like, I just don't have the time to sit there and read the book.
I know the interviews you had with Carlos. I remember he had recommended some books, and I myself, I'm not very great at reading, especially a page after page after page, but I did get to find audiobooks, or I'd go on even YouTube and find the audiobook. And at work, since I am mostly tinting, it is really nice for even Clubhouse audiobooks.
Yep.
Since I watch the same movies over, I'll put a movie up in the TV and just put the headphones on while I'm working.
So I'll listen to audiobooks, and like this specific book isn't available in audio form, or else I would have. But the one thing and I love audiobooks. The reason why I lean more towards podcasts than audiobooks and just for my own preference,
I have to pee.
Is I feel like with audio or with podcasts, you get I feel like you get the highlights. You get some deep dive, you get the highlights, but it's compacted. With the audiobooks, I feel like chapter after chapter, sometimes to me, I just feel like, man, like you didn't have to write a whole chapter on it. Like there's something about having to write a book that it has to be so long that sometimes I feel like it's drawn out longer than it needed to be. If they were just talking about it, it wouldn't have been that long. And so anyway, I feel like sometimes I get lost in the middle of audiobooks. I find myself skipping chapters, and then it's all over from there.
Yeah, even the audiobooks, I find myself just repeating the first chapter a few times till it really digs in deep. And each time I'm listening to it, I am picking up more tidbits. My sister and cousins, they would have an actual book reading that they did I think every week or every month, and it just, to me,
Nice.
number one, I'm surprised that they can keep up with that many of books. And number two, I mean, how much are you really retaining in the sense that, like you said, we kind of skip a chapter or overlook something. If you read it twice, you might realize that, well, I don't even remember that part.
Yeah, definitely.
Dave loves listening to like these podcasts when we're at work. So even if we don't catch, yours, Jason's, podcasts, he'll like actually listen to them when we're working.
Every Monday, and then the new one that they have, the B plus. I get to now hear that. I guess you're kind of not canceling, but you're kind of holding off on yours.
Are you? Yeah. What's going on with the whole Tint Wiz thing?
I don't know. I had some plans. I don't know what the plans are going to actually be now. We definitely have another Tint Wizdom scheduled this week. Definitely have another one scheduled next week. So the idea was to maybe switch up the format of the show, change things up a little bit, and
like what? Change things up as how?
I don't know. It's kind of one of those. I'd have to kind of dig in my brain a little to get into the specifics, which for some, like, it was weeks ago, I had this like vision of like a kind of a different way the show could be, a little less like frequent, but more like deep and involved. I like how the show right now is very like it's impromptu, right? It's like, hey, let's get on, let's talk. This is what me and you are doing. This is what like Bob's doing. Like, I love it. Like, that's what I like. I love that. Like, I love that a lot. And I feel like that's a really good entrance into doing things and a really great format because you never know what you're going to get. It's always fresh. It's fun to do and so on. So then my mind went to the opposite of that, which was like infrequent but deeper dives in things that may take me weeks to put together. But like, I'll give you, I guess, the best visual I have. Like, like when there's like a special on TV, like it'll be like Barbara Walters talks to like, or now it'd be like Oprah. Oprah talks to like Meghan and Prince and whatever and Harry. Like, obviously I'm not talking to Meghan and Harry and I'm not Oprah. What I'm saying is, that sort of thing takes a little more legwork to put together. It's a little more of like a thing. That was where my mind was going, which was like, hey, I maybe not every week, but it's going to put tremendous pressure to increase the production value, the knowledge value. I don't know if it would mean I'd have to travel or people would travel. I don't know what it was going to involve, but that's the road I was going on. And then, I went to this Expel thing a couple weeks ago, or it was an Expel thing. It was definitely an Expel thing. It was an Expel, like the race, like the Indy 375, which was fucking awesome. And there's a lot of people, like dealers, like people like that Expel dealers and so on. And like, it kind of like put me over the edge in a good way, in the sense like hearing from people being like, oh, I listened to your podcast, or like, I really like your show, or like, when can I be on your show, or like any of that positivity. It's like stuff I hear. I'm not saying like I don't hear that, but like, in person and from people that I've never met before, I'm like, damn, like it made me think, I'm like, I have a lot of people that I want to talk to still, and people are obviously enjoying this. Like, just keep going. Like, don't, you know what I mean? Like, maybe next week's not going to be the week to stop, or the week after, whatever. So like, it kind of, I don't know, like, I'm down to do whatever. I don't really make up my mind. I want to do whatever is going to provide the most value out there. If that's trying something new, it's going to be trying something new. And if it's doing what we're doing, it's fine. It's doing what we're doing. And if it's both, it's both. I don't know. But I really try to keep like, I'm not one of those people that you'd be like, hey, show me your plans. And I'd pull out a notebook with like line charts and dates, and like none of that exists. Okay.
When you say get up, like let's call it tomorrow being Monday or even Tuesday, I mean, how often are you getting a new phone call and finding a new 1-hour conversation with somebody maybe you haven't even talked with yet?
So I don't do phone calls really. Phone calls, like, we don't have phone support. To me, phone calls are the least inefficient way of communicating in my mind. And it's just like a little uncomfortable with me, even because it's like, sometimes they're very important, perfect, and there's a setting for them. But oftentimes I find like if we're doing like a meeting, like if I'm about to do like a meeting about something, like me and XYZ are meeting to talk about their thing, my thing, our thing, whatever thing. video chat to me makes more sense because you get to see the people, you engage. If I need to switch to a screen, I can switch. You need to pull something up, you can pull it up. We're like visual because like I even find myself in person sometimes telling somebody about something, or they're telling me, or they're talking to somebody, and I Google it. And I'm like this, right? Like, and I just pull up a picture. And it's like, I have this computer in my hand that can pull up what you're describing. Let's just pull it up. So what I'm saying is I really like video chat. I really like using that. And then I really like text because to me, text is a never ending conversation. And like, I like to be able to tell you what I'm thinking now. And if I think of something in 30 minutes, I send it to you then. And if something else comes in an hour, and we go back and forth forever in text. So phone calls, not so much.
I realized that because I tried calling you when you're like, "Oh, send me a text instead." I'm like, sometimes I want to talk.
It's
but
tough.
then I'm like, okay, he's a text person, so
it's tough.
I stopped calling.
But I'll tell you why it's tough, especially because it's like right now I'm doing this, which is perfect, and this is going to have all my attention. If I get a phone call right after this, and it's an hour phone call, I'm now that next hour is that phone call, which is no problem, right? But if you take away my sleeping hours, which I like to be 8, there's 16 hours in the day. It's very easy to give up those 16 hours to 16 people 1 hour at a time. And you'll never have time in your life. And like, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But what I'm saying is, I just feel like if I want to have a lot of friends and I want to communicate with a lot of people and I want to do a lot of things, if I talk on the phone, going to run out of time.
No, I get what you're saying because like I mentioned, all of our customers that come into our shop, they have my number. They have my number and they can call it 24/7. It is my own personal cell phone number. And it's because we don't work on weekends. They could always text me 24/7. I would give the customers, an answer back. But I don't want to be called because of that fact. Because, if I'm like 10 p.m. and someone's texting me, I'd rather reply to a text in one sentence versus talking to somebody for a few hours,
It's a tough one. I also find that and that sometimes you have to talk to get the point across. Sometimes you have to talk to figure it out together on the phone through voice back and forth. Sometimes it's absolutely critical, but sometimes it's the lazy person's way of, hey, I want to tell you about something, but instead of shortening it down to what it is, it'll be easier if I just say it. Now, sometimes it's critical to say it. Sometimes it's part of the creative process. Sometimes it's, I want to tell you, but I'm too lazy to text you, so just give me your attention whenever I tell you because I'm free right now. And it is what it is, but I guess where I come from, where my past was my tint shop was open 24 hours in a sense. Our posted hours were 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week. So our phone calls came in after hours, before hours, and you can guarantee in those hours. And granted, we had admin, but after hours, I was answering the phone. Saturday, Sunday, I was answering the phone. There was times where we didn't have admin. There's overflow and so on. So basically what I'm saying is I have developed such a distaste for phone conversations over the course of maybe 10 years from being on the phone so much that it's nothing wrong with it, but I need the balance, the pendulum. I spent so much time being unavailable because I'm on the phone. I like the pendulum of now I have some time not on the phone. And that time I'm able to think, I'm able to help people. So I'll give you an example. We get live chats. Sometimes it's me in the live chats. It doesn't matter if 8 people come into a live chat or not. All 8 can be helped instantly, all at the same priority. There's no difference. I can't do that if I'm on the phone with one person. I can't help 7 people on the computer if I'm on the phone with one person. So one person can keep me from helping 7 people or 8 people or text messages or so on. And again, I keep emphasizing phone calls are critical in the right environment, but you can easily be overwhelmed with them and they can easily be at the cost of a bigger picture. And I try to do my best with that because I do think there's challenges in getting to the bigger picture. And some of those are things like finding little hacks to make the most of your time, because we all know what it feels like to be so busy you don't have time for anything else. And that sucks. I don't want to get there. I want to have I always think it's important to have time for your brain to be at its normal running level. I think if you operate at 100% forever, it becomes 80%, 60%. Your battery starts to like die. Like you need that or else, you know?
Yeah, I get it, but sometimes you do prioritize, like,
Sometimes you're on the phone. It's no big deal.
Yeah, but you do have to prioritize, like, do I want to pick up this call or do I not? That's how I take it.
Hey, sometimes
Right?
sometimes you can't. Sometimes the phone's ringing. You're on. I'm doing this interview. If my phone rang, you didn't get a call. Now, if I'm gonna call that back, I'm gonna miss another call, and you start this chasing of madness, and like doesn't help anybody. Doesn't help anybody if you're unavailable or whatnot. So I really look the same way we do our customer service is kind of the same way I run my life. Like I think if you text me at 12:30 midnight with an idea, I think that's awesome. I'm glad you're up. And if I'm up, I'm going to be thinking about your idea too. Um, the same way, if you have a problem or you have a question with Tint Wiz, if it's 2:30 in the morning, props to you. We have 24/7 live chat. Come in, let's talk about it. I'm glad you're working at 2:30 in the morning. Good job. We are too. But at the same token, like, you know, we're available that way. I'm available that way. But at the same token, if you're like, hey, it's midnight and I'm just gonna cold call Erik, probably not gonna get an answer. Do you know what I mean? And the same way, like if you're like, hey, I want to call somebody and talk to somebody now, it's probably not the best use of anybody, like anybody's efficiency. I'll tell you this, like it's not like I've never done customer service on the phone. Done plenty of customer service on the phone. People trying to explain stuff and you trying to send them a picture and they can't, and asking to screenshot but they're on the phone. It seems like a good idea when you start dialing, but it's the worst idea when you're on the phone. You're like, well, what page are you on? Well, what are you looking at? Okay, what page are you on now? What did you just click on and didn't tell me? And like, it's a mess. So like, we try to do what's actually best, not just what somebody might think is best. And we hope that everybody sees it over time.
Yeah,
I know
have
we
that.
see
Yeah.
things in different lights. I mean, I've noticed some interviews. I've heard statements where it sounds like you and Jason, the Tint Dude 3, have collaborated quite a bit, as well as Carlos, Harry Ramon. And it's, not to say the term like, well, where's my shot at this? But it is weird. Like, obviously, somehow you've connected enough with certain people where people like myself feel like, not to say you're a god and I just need to touch you and it'll rub off on me. But there is some type of like, where can I share ideas? And it's, not to say you're copping out,
Heck,
but
that's it though. No, that's it. Like I'll tell you, all those people you just mentioned, like I could pull up Carlos's text right now. Let's do it so you can see that I'm not full of shit. Because Carlos is a perfect. Carlos's last text with you was at 2. Well, you're not gonna see it because of the green screen, but it was at 2:13. Now, as I scroll through the day, you can't do it because of the green screen. We've texted back and forth with each other. I mean, all day. Like I can't show you, like all day. And like what I'm saying is, when because like there's a lot going on right now. We're collaborating, and like Harry's the same type of guy. Like I'll text Harry an article I'm reading. I'll screenshot a car and be like, "When are you gonna buy this?" Like it's not just like, "Hey, let's strategize." It's just like there's kind of like that back and forth. But like here's the thing. I have Cody Becker. That's another example. Same type of relationship. We text each other back, usually on Facebook Messenger.
That's cool that you guys formed that relationship with me being in the crowd. I'm a female. I feel like guys have this weird notion.
So Carrie
with me, like, huh?
Carrie is a female, and I have that same relationship with her where we text back and forth constantly. What I think some of the parameters are that you have to get past. Not you personally. I'm saying just in general. Like this is how the difference between maybe Dave, how you feel and how you said that versus like maybe Harry or Cody or whatever is first and foremost, I have to know that like Dave doesn't mind a text message from Erik 24/7. So if I'm looking at something at 1:30 a.m., like, and I'm not like, and it's Facebook, I wouldn't text you, but I send you a Facebook message of some article I think's interesting. I have to, in my head, be confident enough to know that Dave is going to be interested in that, not feel like, why is Erik texting me this? Like, what is he bothering me for? Or something like that. And that's the same thing you have to feel is like, I can text Erik anything and I'm not bothered. Like, we're friends. Once you get past that, like, I feel like it's normal, but I feel like there's like still like Dave, like, I don't text you like Dogecoin stuff or like random, like, I don't know, like stuff that I see like about like Logan Paul. Like, I don't text you this stuff. I would text you, but I'm like, I don't know that you're interested in it. And then I feel like as you break through those boundaries and you're just texting bullshit back and forth, then you're like, you get it, I guess, or you're like, whatever. Like Harry, I've known Harry for maybe 8-9 years because he worked for the supplier. He helped me sell the company. I've known him like very integral through there. Harry was releasing Veloce publicly. Same time we were kind of making Tint Wiz known publicly. So now you have that like kinship to like, hey, we're both kind of getting the word out there and something. And Harry, specifically was like, hey man, anytime you need me on Tint Wizdom, if you need a guest last minute, even if it's 30 seconds before the Tint Wizdom, call me and I got you. Like anytime. So then what happens is you end up seeing Harry on Tint Wizdom more often because Erik needs a guest and Harry's a great friend and Harry's willing to come on and I feel comfortable doing that. Now there's other people who have told me that same thing and said, Chris Hardy, an example from Expel, said, hey man, anytime you need me, call me and I'm on your show, I got you. But me just being a human, I go, I don't want to bother Chris Hardy. Chris Hardy's probably really busy. I don't even know what time zone he's in Canada and whatever. And like, it's like a shyness. So what I'm saying is I don't think you or anybody should ever feel like they're not in. I think or like communal or whatever. Like you don't have it's just a simple like somebody's being shy, whether it be you or me. Somebody in any relationship, I believe, is typically just being shy. It's all like a shyness thing. And that's why in person, usually that stuff disappears instantly. And you're like, hey, what's up, blah, blah, blah. Because it's like, there's not that shyness of like over the phone or you're with your family. Or what if like, I don't know. People think all sorts of things. But like Liz, I can tell you this. I could see, since I want to make your show, like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like we're just trying to put everything out there. I could see a scenario where somebody, let's just like make up names here. Let's say somebody like Carlos, because I don't want to, let's just say
Carlos.
Okay. Jehovah. No, that's a religious name. Not saying that. Dave's your name. So you see how good I am with names. I'm picking all the ones around me. But look, what I'm saying is you as a female, if you want to bring up that, you have a barrier in the sense that I believe that some guys with a brain would think twice about becoming really buddy with you if they don't know Dave, because they're going to go, who's going to start texting somebody's wife or girlfriend or whatever, anybody. I'm just saying. So like Carrie, for example, like Carrie and I have a very good work relationship. She knows I'm married. I know she's married. There's no weirdness. My wife, Betsy's not going to see Carrie's name on my phone and go, what's going on over here? And like what I'm saying is, again, like it all comes back to like shyness, getting to know each other, getting comfortable, like being on the same page. And I think like that's what people should always look at. And if you ever feel like this person's fucked up because they're not showing me the same attention or something, I really think you back up and go, wait a second, I'm sure there's something going on here. Like they're shy, I'm misinterpreting, they're misinterpreting something. You know what I mean? I really think that. I don't know.
No, I get it. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't think it's like a bro thing is what I'm saying. I don't think it's like you're a girl, so me and Dave are going to be bros, but you're going to be left out. I think it's like guys are typically comfortable communicating with guys. Girls feel comfortable communicating with girls. And once you start crossing that, I think it's good. There's a place, you see the group chat we're in for the Tinter battles. That's normal shit, right? Normal shit. Nobody's like, oh, you're normal shit. But at the same time, like the environment, the context makes it normal. Everybody feels.
Mitchell, I didn't mean anything by saying your photo has to be flip-flopped or anything like that.
What are you talking about?
Where I kind of flopped.
I saw your post.
Huh?
So I saw the post you're talking about. But
yeah, so I hope that Dean did take offense to it.
Dean definitely didn't take offense to it. I love Dean. I'm going to speak on behalf of Dean and tell you that there's no chance in the world Dean took offense to it, because Dean is one of those extremely nice, looks like no ego human being. There's no chance I can imagine he would take offense. But see how you question if Dean might take offense?
I did, because he didn't respond to it.
But see how then you could be like, what's up with Dean? He doesn't respond because I'm a girl, or he has a thin skin or something. What I'm saying is he didn't respond. He's probably in quarantine, or he's helping somebody shrink a window through Facebook, or like he's doing something, but I guarantee you it was not that. But that insecurity, or I'm not saying insecurity, but like that second guess, we all have it. I do it all the time.
I know.
I second guess myself.
I'm afraid to kind of like, even in the window tinting film like group, I'm afraid to give people feedback because of that. Because they're gonna think, you know, who the fuck is this chick?
No.
You know.
No, they're not though. They're gonna go, who the fuck's this chick? Then they're gonna go, oh, I got to know this chick. And then they're gonna go, oh, this is Liz. No longer who the hell is this chick? And then somebody else comes in there, who the hell is this chick? They're like, that's Liz. She has really good. So what I'm saying is like, you can't let your own like insecurities or like holdbacks.
That's why I let it.
You gotta go.
That's where I shared it on the Clubhouse with that guy that can't, you know, with sunroof.
Oh, the guy, wait, which one? The guy talking.
That guy, I did block him.
Yeah, the guy left you back following you around or whatever, right?
Yeah. So so that's the whole, you know.
So there you go. You shared that on Clubhouse because Clubhouse was the medium you chose to share it on. Did you share it in the Facebook group?
No, I just blocked the guy, but I did. I kind of.
Didn't you do a live video or no?
No, I didn't do a live video. I did.
Well, what about Clubhouse made you want to share
David Carl. I mentioned it to David Carl that this guy was kind of like. I responded to his Facebook post, and then he kind of followed me into the whole window filming post and said something. You know, I forgot what he said, and I just blocked him. So it's like that whole energy where. I don't know if it's a female thing. It's like I can't deal with that whole someone that has negative energy where I responded to your post in the other group. And then you're coming on my post on the window filming group and saying, you know, what you need to say.
So look, I think you should, like, number one, I really applaud you for sharing it, especially on Clubhouse. I think that's a unique medium to share it on. And thanks for being a part of the Clubhouses. But
I love it. You know what? I forgot to thank you and Patrick because how we got into the whole, Window Film Magazine was because of the Clubhouse.
Nice.
The guy was there and he listened, you know, and then he basically contacted me and said, you know, I was in Clubhouse. I heard that you had, you know, 1,000 reviews and he wanted to feature us in the magazine. So I did mention that. I do want to thank you and Patrick.
That's awesome.
Because
yeah, no, that's great. Look, that's a beautiful part about you sharing, and that took maybe like, you know, in the context, you're sharing that and look what it led to and you being a part of it and so on. If you would have stopped that because I'm a female, I don't want to, or I don't want to share it or whatever, these guys aren't going to respect me in the tint group, how much would everybody have lost out on? The community would lose out on knowing you, and you would lose out on knowing the community. The point is, like, it really, like the disagreements and all that, and like the insecure, like the people wanting to hold back or whatever, it's all like stuff that we can work through as a community. The more we get to know each other, the more we can better communicate and understand each other. I think those conflicts start to just disappear. And to the customer conflict that you had, you know, ultimately, I would just try to approach it instead of saying, I can't deal with it. Just go, I want to learn how to deal with that, but I don't know how. Because if I could, I'm saying, like, because I don't have an answer for you how to deal with it. But I do know that if somebody did have an answer, I would be very appreciative to it, and I'd want to know it because it would relieve me of the next time it happens. I'd go, well, now I know how to deal with it. So I try to remind myself, like, not to, like, it's not I can't. It's I haven't figured it out yet. I need to figure it out. I need to learn it from somebody, but there's no can'ts.
As far
no,
as
for me, it's for me, what I was trying to say in the Clubhouse is with the whole 3 reviews that we had that was negative, it was because that affected me. And it affected how I performed, you know, at our business with connecting with our customers. And if I'm not at 100%, I feel like the customers can feel it. And so with me, you know, with that whole side of, you know, that guy's response to my, you know, to my post, it really affected me. So I should have removed myself because I couldn't handle the whole, you know,
You did
I don't
remove
know.
yourself. You blocked him. That was your way of removing
Yeah,
yourself.
I didn't block him, but it affected me after with his whole post. And that's why I feel that we've gotten that whole negative review. I mean, we got 3-star, 2-star, 1-star the week that it happened. And it was because I could perform at my 100% of, who I am, who I really am.
So, I mean,
it really affected me.
What a learning experience and a chance for you to grow from that coming out of it. You know what I mean? Like
I just feel like if I'm not at 100%, I should not be at the business. I sometimes we do have, as a female, I don't know if it is as a female, we go through that monthly stage and things touch us. We're sensitive, and maybe, if we can't handle things, we should just not be there. We should have kind of like, not that, what is that called? Like you get paid for, having a baby and maternity leave. We should be able to get paid every monthly for like not being able to perform just because guys don't understand, but it does. It's like this thing that we can't control. It's uncontrollable. And if I'm not 100%, I don't want to talk to customers if I'm not 100%. I want to give my customers my all. And I feel like that, my all is what has earned us our 5-star reviews. And I can't fake it. If I'm not 100%, I can't give it to my customers at being 100%. I'm straightforward. I can't put up with shit. It's like, okay, customers come in, they complain about stuff, and it's like I can't handle it. I can't please the customer where they want to or need to be pleased. And I feel that from myself. So the drawback with, the whole thing that happened with the whole window film thing with that negative, with that negative feedback from that guy, it did affect our business. It affected me because I'm used to being 5-star, being great. And then, when that stab takes that stab from you, it's like, oh shit, what, it draws me back. It pulls me back. And so with me, learning from it is if I'm not able to give it 100% at the business, I shouldn't be there. That's how I feel because I love our business. I mean, everything that's put into it, like I said, Dave owns it, but I run it. And I give it, anything that I'm attached to, that's pretty much my character. I give it 100%. Anything that I'm a part of is going to succeed because I give it 1,000%, So.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to ask Erik the concept. I remember talking to Ralph a long time ago, and the concept of how many window tinters there actually are. I know film companies obviously have people that are reps that go out and try to solicit their product, their brand. And with you, I mean, you're literally reaching out to everybody, I would assume, to the point of like, not that you have an answer, but how many window tinting companies are you actually interacting with in the sense of there's thousands you've already touched and reached, there's 10,000s, or do you know kind of my question?
I don't really know how I could accurately measure that, to be honest. I think I don't really have a number that I could accurately, it's not really like a metric that we try to truly focus on. Not saying there's something wrong with focusing on it. It's just I mean, it's definitely in the thousands. I just couldn't really tell you to get more specific than that.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I didn't think the industry was this big, but with the Facebook and all these things, it is just amazing. I can't keep up with the names and the faces. And people like Carlos obviously makes a name for himself. It's easy to remember him. Same thing with Jason. There's certain people that just stand out. And the poll that I just made the other day, I'm hoping that I click on all the ones that are saying they're attending the Tinter Battle and just keep a mental note, maybe even a checklist, so that I can check off the list when I'm there to see how many people I did actually see.
And I think what'll be cool too, I don't know if Carlos has this planned, but they're like to have there's probably going to be like registration, like lanyards. like with your name, like, so that way that'll make it like a little easier to maybe everybody should use like their Facebook image, you know what I mean, on it, so that like it's not just your name, but like sometimes the Facebook image is what you remember, like the icon. So that might be a good way that when we're there, it's even easier to connect. But to your point of like how many tinters there are, I think everybody, when these conversations come up, usually people want to say around 10,000 plus in the United States, whether that be tinters or tin shops. 10,000 plus is some number that I've heard thrown around. And, I feel like there's only a fragment of them that we see, a small fragment or small fraction rather, that we see actually posting on social media. And then there's a larger fraction that probably lurks, but never, absolutely never, ever, ever, ever posts. So you'd like never even know they exist. And then there's even like a larger fraction, I believe, that probably says, oh, I don't even bother with that stuff. And like, they're not even looking at it. They're not posting on it. They're not nothing. And that's exciting because I think like just within the, North America and South America, there's huge opportunity for still like growth in the community. But then you figure like, what about worldwide? Like, what about over the next 5 to 10 years? There's technology right now. You can put earbuds in your ear and somebody could speak and it translates it for you. So like translation through typing is going to become, obviously it's already there, but it's only going to get better. So what I'm saying is, as the world connects more and as the industry grows and so on, like, I think we're in for a lot of cool stuff over the next decade because there's a lot of untapped, unconnected tint family out there in the whole world. I believe that, together it could be something we haven't seen before. Like, look what just coming together in the Facebook groups over the last maybe 5 years, 8 years has done for the industry. And then go, all right, well, it's 8 years, but there's another 24 years. Where does it go from here? And it can only be significantly bigger and better with technology, Have you tried the new Oculus VR headset, the Oculus Quest 2?
Liz's son, we got the, like, I don't want to say it's the original, but it was something for, I believe, PlayStation. It might have actually been Xbox, but I think it was PlayStation. And so that was all connected to the PlayStation. You had to put the little sensors in each corner. And I mean, that was the most amazing. Like, literally, I had that fear of anxiety of being too high, like I was going to fall off a cliff or something. And it was just amazing at how, like, that reality strike. And then, like, this new, like you said, the Oculus thing, it's so much. Like, we didn't really get a chance to play with his PlayStation as much because it was a little new. We couldn't have the space. We didn't know where. I didn't want to drill holes in the wall to just hang something. So we got into it, but stopped. But as lazy as it sounds, I was looking at it like I could just sit in a computer chair in a dirty room and just make it so I'm now out in the wilderness, and I would be content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that new headset, you just basically turn it on, put it on your head, grab the handles, and you are there. And like, the ways that you can like play games with people or like virtual chat or like there's rec rooms and there's jobs and there's all sorts of things. I just feel like this is going to be a key component to like training, meetings, communication. Like you said, you can be anywhere and you can be fully immersed in a few seconds, fully immersed in another reality for $300 with no wires in a few minutes.
In the clubhouse.
I don't know. We paid $800.
Yeah. In the clubhouse, I remember people like this guy was explaining how like, you could use Instagram, and he's hoping that in the future you don't click on it to see the image, but you can click on it, and now you could, like you're saying, interactively see with this couch how it will fit in your living room, and or how anything you could make interact and fill, and how you can now see it even though it's not really there.
Augmented reality. Yeah. It's something like I keep my eye on because I can't predict, but I know I can observe, and like I know this is a key piece because I know when I'm putting something on, I'm blown away. When I'm leaning up against a table that's not there and almost falling down, like literally, I go to lean up against the table thinking there's a table there. At what point did I forget that I was playing VR and there's nothing there? And then you're going, oh my God, what's going on? I'm not in this room. When your brain goes, you idiot, you're not in this room. You smash your face on the real room ground. That's when I'm like, okay, there's something to this because, like, just give it a little time. And
Erik, do you ever feel unmotivated?
No. No. I'm not saying I'm never like I think like I'd want you to define unmotivated and the context around your unmotivation. But like if you're saying are there days where like I go lay down in bed for a few hours and just go to sleep instead of doing something maybe I need to do? Absolutely. Like there's days where I don't do so much. The mission is still the mission. And like I never am like, okay, maybe I don't want to get what I want to get. Not like physically, but goal-wise, like what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm never like, maybe I don't want to do that. I mean, if that crossed through your head, I feel like it goes through your head and then you're like, no, but I do. So like, I feel like, I don't know, don't like judge yourself or like be like, I'm unmotivated. You might not even be unmotivated. That might to me be a sign of something you want to change. And it feels like maybe unmotivation, but it's like, there's something about it that is bothering you. And if you fix that, it re-energizes you, but you were never unmotivated. Because like motivation to me, I feel like it's a guilt thing. Like when you say like, I feel unmotivated, it's almost like I don't know, like what does somebody expect to feel? Like unlimited energy, drive for the same goal forever. Maybe your goals are changing. And that's why the motivation temporarily feels like it's not there. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe your mind's spun around, but like it's not, to me it's not like unmotivated, it's just like tired or like whatever. But
yeah,
are we starting to get unmotivated?
No, like I feel like that sometimes.
Did we need
like
to
what,
try to
though? Like,
we still need to try to give a cup away?
Yeah, let's do the whole cup giveaway. Erik,
How about just
I don't know, we tried 2 times and it didn't happen. So
just how about someone, I mean, this will be it. You ready? We just say the next person to text or to comment, I want the cup.
fair enough.
And
text I want the cup.
Text I want the cup, and then in the comments, and then I'll post it in order that I see it. So it has to be, if enough people do it too much.
David Caro, I love David because he reached out to me. And I want to let everybody know I don't accept Facebook friendship. And the reason why I don't is because I post private stuff about my kids, about my life, and things like that, that I don't want random strangers to know. And so that's why I don't accept friend requests from people that I barely know. And the same with Dave. It's like I have gone through, I have Dave's password, he has mine. Dave would request friend requests from everybody. Porn stars, everybody.
Porn stars?
Yeah, whoever the hell that, and I'm like, who the fuck is this person? And so we went through his friends list and we deleted people that are no longer, positive, a part of his life and a part of, what I want to share. And so that's my whole thing with, if you have requested a friend request from me, I don't know you that well to really accept you. My private life is my private life, and I don't have a lot of what's that called? I don't always have a lot of people. It's usually cousins or family members. I only have I want to say under 300 people that's my friend in Facebook.
But you have a
people
Facebook page.
People want to follow me. They could follow me, and I have people that you could follow pages without being people's friends.
Right.
And I do post things that I want to share public, with the public, and you will see. I
don't think a lot of people know that you can follow people without friend requesting them, or I think a lot of times people don't even realize that. So that's a really good point you're bringing up.
No, I feel like we say I get friend requests and I try to politely reply to them. I get into my explanation a little too deep, but it's funny to say I really don't accept too many friend requests. But if you look at my page, you'll see that you're on there, Erik, Ralph. There's a handful of some tinters that would kind of how are you telling me you only keep this private or, to your close friends when I see these people like Ralph and Erik? I doubt, you grew up with them. So, I mean, it is just kind of selective, but it is like Liz says, I have a Window Tinting Life page. Liz has her Window Tinting Queen page. So like you said, there's ways to keep in touch, message, phone calls.
Because it's like my I wanted to bitch about people in the window film industry, and you guys are my friend. How the fuck am I gonna bitch about y'all? No, I'm just kidding. so that's why I don't request stuff, you know. But it's a place where it's my outlet. People that are
went
my
the other
friends,
direction.
my family.
I made mine a public page, my Facebook page. So like whether you're my friend or not, it's all public. But then I don't like I never.
You know, you share limited stuff though, right?
I never. Yeah, that's just my thing though. Like,
I don't share limited stuff. I share private stuff on my page. And so if I was to create a separate, account where I will approve, every friend request that I get, but it's my Window Tinting Queen.
Yeah.
So friend me there. So that's, my whole take on, I will not accept friend requests, but you guys can always follow me because I do post things that I post public. So you guys will see it. But the stuff that I do post private, it's be bitching at Dave or something like that. I don't want you guys to know. So,
all of her inspirational quotes have some kind of negative reflection off of me.
Yeah. So it's all my family members can kind of like see, and public can't see. So it's all shit talking about Dave.
I'm headed to your Facebook page after this. I don't know if we're but I'm curious. I want to check out these quotes.
You won't see it because I'm not going to send you.
We do have John Gonzalez was the first one to type in, "I want the cup." And I believe from another one of his comments, he is Johnny Blaze, or he said Johnny Blaze wants the cup. So I don't know if John Gonzalez is Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blades.
Who's that?
I mean, just the name, John Gonzalez.
Okay, you went, John Gonzalez.
Houston, Texas.
Johnny Blaze.
Is that what it is? They're the same person, right?
Johnny Blaze.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Erik, we love having you on here because, like I always told Dave, you are one of my inspirational, person that I'm always thinking like, since I've known you, the whole positivity you put out there. It's like if I'm dealing with customer, I'm dealing with something, I'm always like, how that bracelet that people put on their wrist, what would Jesus do to be able to love? I'm always thinking, what would Erik do in this situation? And this, it's like you have that effect on me. I am a leech where I love connecting with people that I could gain something from in a positive way, and you are one of those people that I love, I admire. I admire everything that you have brought forward that I have seen,
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I mean, I obviously like super appreciate both of your friendships. And it's one of the great things of the Facebook communities is we've yet to meet, but I feel like we already know each other. And I'm so happy that you're doing this show, and I'm so happy that you're killing it. And to know that like you guys, I've said before, like my first impression of your shop was like, I just mom and pop good shop, and then knowing that like your mom and pop good shop with 1,000+ reviews. So like you're like top in the country, most reviewed shop in the entire country. Like I just give you so much props and like keep killing it and keep doing your thing. Obviously your customers love you. You're doing something absolutely unique. Like the way you're doing it, what you're doing, it's your thing. You guys came up with it. You guys are executing on it. It's working, and the world needs it. So thanks for both of you being such great people and doing what you do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for you. We can't wait to meet you in the tint battle.
And eat
27.
And if you were to ask, who do we think are gonna win? We don't care who the fuck's gonna win. We're there to meet everybody. That's really not our goal to really be like, oh, I'm a fucking win. I'm going to bring back this thing. We're just happy to be a part of it, to be a part of this whole thing that's going to, it's a huge event. This is the first year.
Yeah. Huge. And yeah, I mean, it's been said before, but I need to say it one more time at least is, it's beyond incredible that now there's a new event in the industry. The event it's not like another event that's like the old event. It's a whole different thing. It's its own thing. It has its own energy, its own life. And it's not even just like, it's like, we have this event coming up, but you see with Carlos and with Tintertainment, everything that's planned, there's this like, it's going to be like, what's next? What's next? What's next? It's not going to be, we're going to see each other in a few weeks, see you next year. It's going to be, we're going to see each other in a few weeks, and then what's next? So really, like, obviously, like, thanks to Carlos, and anybody who doesn't know about Tinter Battles, go to tintertainment.com and find out more and go. It's in Houston, June 12th and 13th. And I can't wait to see you all there and everybody. Yeah, and it's free to go to. It's free to go to. And frankly, like, you could drive there and you could sleep in Carlos's apartment and it would be completely free. So
Carlos, why didn't you extend that to us before we bought our hotel ticket? Where are you staying at? Are you staying at the same hotel we are?
I didn't book it yet. I need to book it. What confused me, frankly, was I know that like some were booking at a Marriott, which made total sense, I think.
I fucked up.
Well, I don't know. Basically, what I wanted to do was I'd rather just book wherever everybody's booking, but I also wanted to be close to the shop because I didn't know if people are booking further away for some reason, but I just want to be like close to the shop because I don't want to sit in traffic the whole event is at the shop. So I feel like I want to be really close to the event and of course where everybody else is being. And I just figured the more time passed, the more I'd figure that out.
No, book it now because a lot of places are filling up.
Okay. You will wind up having to stay with Carlos, it sounds like.
I think we're staying with Dean Mitchell.
Okay.
And Dave Carl.
Do you know which hotel it is?
Yeah, it's in the group chat.
It's the Hilton, I think, because the Marriott was sold out.
Yeah, well, no, wherever the where is it? I posted. Yeah, I posted the link on our Facebook page. I booked it at the wrong place at the first, and Dean Mitchell was like, "That's not the place where we're staying at," and so I had to cancel that place, and I booked it at. I think I put it. Yeah, Dean Mitchell. It's in our group chat.
All right, I'm gonna go look again.
Make sure that you have the proper address because I didn't, and I booked it at the wrong place. So book it there so we can kind of get together, maybe have breakfast or something the day before. Or I think we're flying in on, was it Friday? I think Friday night we're flying in, and then maybe we could have dinner together or something like that. But it's Dean Mitchell, Dave Carl, and I think a few people that are staying there. So
I wanted to say like Friday night there might be some sort of like kind of run through.
Yeah, so we'll be meeting at Mike Norm's shop.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet.
We're flying in. Yeah, so book it there so at least we can stay at the same hotel and like I said, kind of get to be able to interact with
Yeah.
With you. We'd love to interact with you and a lot of other people, face to face.
There's gonna be like, I'll bet you there's gonna be like 200.
So are you not a hugger? That's what Carrie said. Carrie said, David, Erik's not a hugger.
If somebody wants to hug, you can give me a hug. I'll give him a hug back. What are you going to do? You give him a big squeeze. It's got to be a good
Gary
hug.
V says he's a hugger or something.
No.
What does he say?
Same thing. I think he's like, I'd hug anybody. He's just like, he just loves kind of his audience and all that. He's just a really kind of down to earth.
That's my whole thing with the whole COVID thing. I'm a huge hugger. Like with customers, when I check them out and stuff, I'm always giving that. I'm a hugger type of person, I love that physical interaction with people.
There's something
and with
to
the whole COVID, huh?
There's something to hugs. There's definitely something to hugs that are special.
Yeah, so I love like kind of giving that customer, that hug, appreciation, and stuff. Mm-hmm. And with the whole COVID thing, it's like I didn't know how to interact. Like I don't know what the fuck to do. So, even till now, I look at customers and I'm used to now not hugging. So I stand back and like, I clench myself.
I saw Mike Burke a few weeks ago and he went in for the hug. He put me up on his shoulders. There was no hesitation. We were in no masks. There's no nothing. So I think there'll be a lot of hugging in Houston, I believe.
Okay.
Houston's, I think, the hugging capital of the world.
Yeah, I don't mind. We are wrapping up almost 2 hours here. We did get
2 hours?
Yep.
Who was the winner?
What did we say? The what was it?
It was Johnny Blades.
Yeah, Johnny Blades. Yeah.
Johnny Blades. If you haven't seen the new Johnny Blades commercial, or not commercial, the new Johnny Blades challenge, he did a challenge video where he was eating a cookie and he was racing Carlos. Carlos was sending a proposal. Carlos beat him, was able to send a quote out faster than Johnny could eat a cookie. And now anybody who makes a video showing that they can do it and they can beat Carlos just by beating Carlos's time, anybody who beats Carlos's time, you get a free box of Nom's cookies and you get a Tinter Battle official shirt completely free just for beating Carlos's time and sending a quote.
What's Carlos's time?
Carlos?
Well, what's the time?
34 seconds.
For eating a cookie? Is that what it was?
No, it was for sending a quote.
Oh.
So Carlos took 34 seconds to send a quote. Johnny Blades was racing him to eat a Nom's cookie.
You know Carlos is going to go down the drain because he was in a quote and that.
Well, you're going to get a box of cookies and a Tinter Battle shirt by doing that.
So, TintWiz app. Have you experienced a high volume of new signups?
We have had we've had tremendous growth over the last, especially like November till now. We've seen it was good before, it's even better now, and I just believe that the more people discover it and use it, it'll only get better. So we'll just
how could we help in kind of like getting the whole app, getting it out there and stuff?
Only thing I feel like I'd ever want anybody to do is to authentically share whatever helps them with people that they think would be helped as well. So like if somebody could use the app or whatever, obviously you telling them like, hey, we use it and it helps us and this is how or whatever. Or if people have questions, like in the community, sometimes in the Tint Wiz community, somebody asks a question, anybody who answers that question, I feel like that's tremendous value. That's what the community is about, is like supporting the community. So like that's what we envision for the community, is it really is the community helping the community to make the community better. So like that's really it. Like we don't have salespeople because like we want to spend 0% effort on sales. Zero. Yeah. I don't want to spend any money on sales. I don't want to spend any time on sales. I don't want anybody to spend any time or money on sales. Let's just spend time supporting, making the product better and supporting the people who use it. And that's it. 100% of the time go to that.
Because you truly believe in your product. That's why.
Yeah.
And with us, I mean,
it's a long game.
Yeah, we just started using TintWiz. And, the experience from us using it, it's like, we absolutely love it. With Dave, it does take time setting it up and things like that. But once you have it set up, when customers do send me, like, I want a quote on, this car, that car from Facebook, from Instagram, I don't have to respond to them. I could basically go through the TintWiz app, send them that link, and be done. And then when they get the quote, they get the quote.
You mentioned expanding to flat glass. And, like, I think that'll be another way that, like, when you expand to flat glass, little by little, you'll start seeing like it all being in one place, a place that you can put the measurements, you can refer back to, you can see what it looked like and so on. I think you'll see tremendous value there as well.
We will expand, but like right now we are turning customers away from window tinting.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, we're just so bombarded.
What are you going to do? Because I agree.
So we're trying to hire people to handle that. We are trying to go 7 days a week, versus 5 days a week with working to accommodate people.
I don't think we personally, if we can get that team where, of course, we'll still stick to like the 5 days a week with different shifts maybe, or why are you thinking we shouldn't?
What I hate about 7 days a week for automotive is it takes 2 shifts. You have to have 2 shifts. Nobody works 7 days a week. Okay. Yeah. Now you have 2 shifts. Okay, fair, right? Now you have 7 days in a week with 2 shifts of crew. That means there's going to be overlap because you can't split the week for 3.5 days, 3.5 days. So now you have 2 shifts, but you have 7 days. So that means there's overlap. So now you have days, you have either people working less than 5 days or multiple people working on the same days and so on. And I'm not saying it doesn't work. Obviously you can do it. But what I'm saying is like, I just think like, if you're working, let's say like 9 to 5.
How do you handle it? Yeah, how do you handle it? Because we're currently turning a handful of customers away every single day. We can't handle. We can't handle the workload.
So you have some options. I just don't think opening more days is the one that I would go to first.
Okay, what's your option?
Some options would be, first and foremost, you have to look at your space and you have to say, well, can we fit more cars in a good way in and out of this shop based on the space? That could be the inside space as well as your parking lot space, because if you're getting drop-offs, you have 5 spaces, you can't take 10 drop-offs. That causes a problem. So your space has to be the number one determination. And if you have extra space, you go, we only use a quarter of our shop. Look, there's tons of space over here. Then you can go, so we can do more cars at a time. How can we do more cars at a time? Okay, maybe we hire somebody else, but let's hire them the same days we're at the shop. We're not off some days and we have to trust them. We're here every day. We can watch over them.
We were thinking of rotating our days. Like Dave would be there, X amount. I would be there X amount.
No, so then you won't see each other as often, right? You will it, but you won't, but you'll this, but you're that. That's what I'm saying. I would rather say if I'm going to hire somebody and we're going to add to it, instead of being 7 days a week and spreading yourself thinner, be shorter together, but be a stronger team. Because it's like the thinner part really like feels like it, to me, you just wear yourself out. Is like thinner.
I think, like for example, like Walmart becoming a 24-hour operation. How it's not to say just give the customers everything they want, but it is nice that when somebody asks, what's the latest I could bring my car in? It's anytime.
But the difference with that is if you take Walmart as 24 hours operation, there's 8-hour shifts, right? And there's 3 8-hour shifts in a day. So you have a very clean method of working those shifts. You have a big operation to where if you have extra people or you're short a couple people, there's enough people working within the company to come fill in the spots or whatever it is. You have a lot of moving parts. But if you have a shop that has 2 tinters and those 2 tinters now are working and one of them calls in, you have a big problem on your hands. So like spreading yourself thinner in an operation that makes sense to have shifts versus a smaller operation, I just feel like instead of you and Liz splitting up 7 days, why not, and having newer people in there potentially, why not be there together to help be the strongest 5-day team and have some days where you completely don't go to work and you're completely not having to deal with it. And the next thing would be, you have to consider raising your prices. You have to consider going, what are all the things we do and which ones do we make the most money from per hour? And how can we do more of those? Because if you're doing removals, hypothetically, just to make an easy one, if you're doing removals and you go, well, this day we did 2 removals and we brought in total 1,500. This day we did no removals, which meant we brought in total 2,500. My first thing would be, how do we do no removals and only do those nicer jobs? Then how do we open more hours to say yes to everything? Because yes to everything is tough to manage. Cutting stuff up and making it more like tight and compact, to me, look, there's no wrong way, but like, do you want to be a 24-hour business? Do you want to be 7 days a week pulled at your business? Because if we're
not working there, then it would be fine. I feel like if we had someone running it for us. But
there's nobody running for. No. But here's the thing. Number one, you don't have somebody running for you. You don't even have somebody running it for you during the days you're at work, is what I'm saying. So I'd start with saying, if you work Monday through Friday right now, find somebody to run it the days you're at work, so you're not running it. You're just the lowly tinter. Somebody else is running it while you're there before you even dream of being open days where you're not there and someone's running it, is what I'm saying.
I think, like you say, my thought process, not to say I'm trying to put myself in all these positions, but even to say a night shift could really just be that 1 or 2 person that, like we're saying, I'm not expecting to have 4 cars at midnight. I'm expecting that night shift to be able to clean up the shop. And if a car is going to be there, they have all night to do it. So it's not to say a 24-hour as hard as noontime shift.
Who's going to work overnight in case some cars come in for an unknown amount of pay while they clean up the shop or take drop-offs in, but you don't know if they're coming in or not. Like, you don't really know. Versus you open for a tight shift, you bang out those cars and you hire a cleaning crew to come in and clean the shop for however much they charge, and that's the end of it if you need somebody to clean the shop.
What about, which is the same topic but just a little bit off, that I've always laughed at when I see these hours of operations that are Monday through Friday from, say, 7 to 5. And then the Saturday, it's 1 hour later they open and 1 hour earlier they close. I don't understand. What is this 1 or 2 hour difference? How did that just really survive by having a business?
Look, I think it depends on the industry, and I also think it depends on some people's personal lives. Sometimes in small businesses, the hours will reflect their own personal situations and so on. But like, I just think that I really, really believe like you should make the days you're open the most efficient possible before you think about adding more days. Because what you just said, a night shift, I mean, it's just like, think about how hard it is to get a person that's trained to tint a car. Then you're going to tell them, hey, you're not going to have a normal life. You're going to work from 6 p.m. until 4 a.m. in the morning. So you're going to work an absurd life. You're going to be a great tinter. You're going to want to do this. And then who's going to book all these cars at night for drop-offs? Who's going to be dropping their car off at 2 in the morning or 5 or 8 p.m. without somebody available to answer phones and to communicate? And I'm just saying, you're going to be like, oh, we have no car scheduled for tonight, so I'm paying this guy $150 for the night for nothing. Or we did one car and we did $250, but we broke even. And I'm just saying.
I definitely agree, and it's the term trial and error, and I'm not thinking that my method will prove the story different. I worked for casinos, and I worked the graveyard shift. I feel that there are definitely plenty of graveyard shifts, and some graveyard shifts, even as a janitor, isn't to do the work, it's to do the other work. So you could stay so effective throughout the day and be such a mess, and that night shift person, crew, again, is just there to...
Fair, but let me ask you this. Are you limited with space or daytime customers?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we as we're saying, turn down.
We turn down work. That's the only.
Customers. Hold on. I know you turn down customers. That's not my question. My question is, are you limited? Meaning, there's not enough people during the day that want your service. Is that a limit?
Not enough people. Yeah, there's not enough people during the day that can tint the cars.
No. Hold on.
Okay,
that's the question. Is there a shortage of customers trying to come to you during daytime hours?
Yeah. No. Wait.
You're saying
we have too many customers that want to come to us that we turn down. We can't accept.
So what I'm saying is, if you're not limited, listen, if you have enough customers that want to come to you during the day, there's so many that want to come to you during the day that you can't service them all. Then why in the world would your first option or your thought be, let's open at night, instead of let's see how we can better service the daytime customers that are coming during the day when we're here?
Because most customers that come to us, we do allow you have to leave your car with us all day, up till 5 p.m. And most customers' response is, I can leave it all day as long as you can accept my car for this day. And so that's his thought process.
I get it. No, I get it. And I get that if you can do 10 cars in a day, but instead you run a night shift and you get 20 drop-offs and you do 10 cars in a day, you do 10 at night, you just doubled your days. What I'm just simply saying is, I think that there's more gold to mine during the day by increasing your efficiency and changing what you're doing during the day. And I just think that long-term, 24 hours and 7 days sound very attractive. You're right. There is definitely opportunity there. However, I believe that it's like it's a torture. Like, it's just a matter of time till you go, what am I doing? I'm going to cut my hours. This is crazy, and I don't want to do this.
And it might not be as much as the term 24 hours.
We can find the right candidate. Yeah, we can find the right candidate to run it for us, and that's why it's so hard for us to hire someone, because we can't just hire somebody.
I know, but so what I'm saying is,
we have a heart in the business.
So if you put a position that's hard, you make a position which is somebody to run the shop at night. That's going to be, you've made a position that's so valuable and so hard to hire for that you're going to have a long time of saying, we can't find somebody. It's a great idea, but we can't find somebody. The position has to be minimized to a position that is easily hireable, like one for somebody to work side by side with you, which you can find somebody to work side by side with you. It's not that hard. Finding somebody to work at night when you're not around is a much harder position. So it comes back to, you're right, you can find somebody for either. One's going to be a lot easier to hire for and maybe a step in between than shooting for that night. You can hire somebody during the day, make them great, and then take one of your day people at night. But trying to hire somebody at night, to me, is like, holy moly. And the night thing in general, I'm just saying, I know you have a lot of energy, but like 24-hour nighttime shifts, like you need some time. And I'm just saying for myself, like, to me, that sounds like something very exciting. And at first would be good. And then I just feel like as you get into it, you go like, man,
That's
there's got.
I think there
like
is
either expanding the business here and running it like that, or opening a second location. With
Why
opening
not
a second
open a big
location would be.
Why not? Let me ask you this. You have a drop-off situation, which I love. You have you all, which I love. Why not simply say we're going to open between X hour and Y hour, whatever that is, and we're going to have only drop-offs, and we're going to do as many cars as we can in that time. And if we need more, if we want to make more money, we're going to increase our prices. We're going to increase the types, like we're going to only do the jobs that we make the most profit margin on. We're going to work towards that. And when that's efficient, we're going to add the space so we can do more cars at a time, and add the people so we can do more cars at a time. I'm just saying, why adjust the hours and the days? Why not just adjust the stuff you're currently have in your hands now?
I do think there are people with other jobs that are working mid and graveyard shifts. And those people are wishing that these places, like getting their oil changed. Yes, they get off work at 10 o'clock at night. And if there was a place to take their oil change and even say, no, I'm going to go home and go to sleep, I'll pick it up tomorrow. Or no, I am up all night. If I could pick it up at 4 a.m, that's great, because I go to bed about 6. I could get over there, grab my car, come home. And again, I think in our town, there's barbers. There was a barber that, he would start his shift at 3 a.m. and these farmers and these people, I was surprised, like who's coming to get their hair cut at 3
Yeah, we're in a small not hick town, but we're a small farm town.
It'll work if you do it.
And like we say, we just get those customers that call us at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Do you have any more room at 4? What? How long did they think it was going to take, and what time?
But they're expecting to get in by 4:15 and get out by 5:15.
And like you said, they're not sure how long it takes. But I know, like with the terms paint protection, vinyl wraps, it's a common thing. Like, no, you need to drop your car off for 3 days, a week. So if I found out that I can get my windows tinted tomorrow because I could just leave it overnight, and another place is we're 2 weeks out to get you your.
Let me ask you this. Do you want to make more money? Do you want to service more customers, or do you just want to work more? Which one of those three is your primary?
Honestly, I like to have the answer.
I want to retire, and he wants to work more.
I just like to have the answer to the customers. That's like I said, everything that you come up with, I've got it available. I just don't have room. Like I said, if somebody says, I don't get off work till 5, and now I have to tell them I don't have anything after 5. But if we can say, no, it's all we have at any time is available. It's just filled up. So I guess it's
So the goal is you want to service more customers. It's not, I want to make more money necessarily. Primary thing is I want to be able to say yes to the customers. Whoever wants my work, I want to be able to say yes.
In a sense, when Walmart, and I know I'm not Walmart, but if Walmart is 24 hours and Target closes at 9 or 10, people are disappointed that why can't Target be open 24 hours?
But they're not doing it because they want people to be undisappointed with them. They're doing it because they make money during those times.
And so I feel like to not say flatten the curve, but to accommodate.
But the question is, do you want to is it to make more money? What's the primary? Because you can only do.
We don't want to make more money. We want to please our customers.
I want a reward for making more money, but that's not the goal. Is to figure out how much more I can make out of this. It's to.
Well, if you want to be able to please more customers, then opening more hours and being more available, certainly do that. You'll be known in the community because you're working 24 hours. And
I used to work 7 days a week by myself, and I didn't really have a real shutdown time.
Now he doesn't need to, but he wants to.
Not want. It's just the comfort zone of knowing it's available. It's I feel that, like we say,
we feel bad when we turn customers away. It hits us in the heart. It's like we can't take a car, but we feel totally guilty because we can't take your car at 3 p.m., So for us, it's just that guilt trip. And so making more money because of it, it's not really making more money. It's because we don't want to feel guilty for turning customers away. Because more money, we don't really need more money. We're pretty comfortable where we're at. But it's that guilt trip with having to turn away customers because we can't do the job. We don't have enough time in the day.
If it didn't make more money, then I wouldn't feel as guilty. I'm assuming it's either going to not say break even, but it should have a reward of making more money. And then, as I said, the
reward person that is, we have to be able to pay somebody.
If another company, like I said, started working, not say 24 hours or just more extended hours, then I would be, in theory, jealous or feel like, how am I going to keep up? I must also have to copy another program, or the similar program. Like you say, Target isn't going to try and copy Walmart. However, if Target just all of a sudden starting to get such a higher recognition for being open 24 hours, pretty soon Target would say, we have to do it too. We never listen to our customers asking us to do it, but now that Walmart is raising above, then we're going to do it finally.
Yeah, we have so many guilt trips because we do have to turn so many customers away because we can't handle the workload.
Even if they said, I can't make it in at 10 o'clock at night, at least the option was there. So you were the one that couldn't make it, not us. So we're doing as much as we can. It's
everything possible.
When it comes to goals, I don't think our goal by next year is to be tinting residential and flat gas. I don't think our goal by next year is to be running 24 hours. I just think in terms of hiring more help and considering it an option that may discover it's not working, the customers aren't showing up like I thought they would, or even as far as flat glass goes, maybe we're just not picking it up as well as we thought we could have. And so things could all wind up staying the same next year. But I think in our mind, that's just a thought goal, not a written on paper goal. And I think those two options, we could possibly learn to do some simple flat glass, and we could potentially extend our hours. It doesn't have to be 24 hours, and it doesn't have to be buy a van and start doing residential commercial work. But it's just kind of thinking ahead. That's where we're thinking ahead.
Just that other kind of career, not career, but option that we could take. Because right now, as you know, my daughter does work for us. So it's like, who knows? You could buy an RV and kind of like be like, hey, Brittany and Dennis, you guys are going to take the shop. We're going to retire and, go off into our retirement plan, visiting. That's my goal. It's like I want to buy an RV, a Mercedes-Benz van. I want to be able to travel and visit different tint shops and be, like the whole, what I'm doing now, the whole podcast. What are you guys up to, and kind of having fun with that.
Direction of visiting camping grounds and camping sites or, certain vacation familiar spots. And so, again, where I know, like even with Jason, he's being hired, but it is traveling the world one tint shop at a time. And to say that term of vacation, here's this shop, say here, where else if we wanted to extend it to the camping grounds afterwards, but here's our motivation, or these different tint shops. And so with us being tinters, Liz being popular as the Window Tinting Queen, it would make that kind of visit at least possibly acceptable because they already recognize us as people.
For sure. I think,
running 24 hours at the shop and extending our residential commercial.
I know.
So we're extending our plates, but
Dave doesn't want to do it. You guys know me. It's like I work because I want to work, not because I have to work. Okay, so that's with me. I could run off. I could buy an RV. I could do the whole, traveling the whole states, visiting tint shops and stuff like that. Who knows? It might happen one day.
Okay, I feel like, we should cut it. I was just going to say anything. Look, at the end of the day, when we talk about like 24 hours, 7 days, flat glass, whatever, it's all opinions. They're all different routes. They all will work. And, it's just doing whatever fire's lit inside you and whatever your vision is. That's what you should do, really.
Yeah, it's a motivational dream that I feel it's tangible. But it isn't, like I say, this deadline. I mean, of course, if you have realistic goals, you should be keeping up with how much progress did you make last week? How much progress are you planning on making? When is this supposed to be accomplished? And if not, why didn't it happen? And like I say, I'm still happy with the current level of work that we get. Any business, if you're not turning work down, then there could be something wrong. So just because you're turning work down doesn't mean you have to now figure out how to expand. Just like you said, I could expand. Now we're not turning one customer down, but we don't have enough to fulfill a 24-hour shift. But at least we're picking up those 3 cars at midnight. But that didn't survive an entire night shift crew. So it is still in the works, a thought process for motivation. But I do think, everything is really going well. And it's not to say that it won't improve. But luckily,
what about your whole TintWiz app? I mean, where are you going with that? Are you leading towards where you work yourself out? How many people do you have on board?
So it's a team of 3, and then so it's a team of 3, like that I consider team, but then we work with like different developers depending on what we're developing. So the team kind of grows and flows, but they're not necessarily like full-time team. And it's not just like, what people don't necessarily realize, which isn't, they don't realize it because I never really talk about it. But like, at the end of the day, like, me as Tint Wiz, but like, I'm not the only person in Tint Wiz. What was important to me and what is like, Tint Wiz is Tint Wiz. I want Tint Wiz to work and be popular and be successful on its own merit. It's its own thing. I'm just part of the people whose, mission is to do that. But like, me because I do Tint Wizdom and because I'm like active in the groups, but it's not like, I mean, I've never tried to be like the face of the app or like anything like that, just because I think the app should be the face of the app. I'm the face of me. And, in my tint business and in Tint Wiz, something that's important to me. And I mean, I used to always say it in my tint business was if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I want nobody to even notice as far as work goes. I want you to come to work and like you would have. The person answering the phones does that. The jobs get done. People would go like, "Oh, where's Erik?" And maybe it turns out he got hit by a bus. I don't want the world to stop if something happens to me, and that's how Tint Wiz is too. Like now, like me and you have been doing this live stream for 2.5 hours. If there was a customer service thing with Tint Wiz, it got handled. Like there's never going to be a time where like the app is Erik or without Erik, there's no app. The app is the app. If God forbid something happened to me tomorrow, the app would still go on and it is what it is. And it would continue to improve and do its thing. And that's how I run it now. And that's how it's always going to be ran, in my opinion. It's about the community. And like, I do have like little ways that I want to down the line, like, I want to basically involve more and more of the community. It's always something I think needs like, it's a business and it is what it is. But I think the more the community can be involved and be empowered and be part of it, I think the better.
Yeah, like, that's with us. I mean, with the whole business, that's why I have over 300 business cards on our wall. All those business cards is because we have touched somebody, and reaching out to their customers, our customers, helping them with our whole social media platform, even give them a little shout out, help their business. And it's like help our little community. We are a part of it. It's like helping them grow, helping us grow. We're all helping each other, and people need to understand that we are, we are one, especially in our small town.
Yeah. And in your small town, in our small industry, in this small planet Earth, in our small galaxy and universe, that's however you want to look at it. We're all just one. So
yeah, because there is there is a time and place where you run into people that you need them in your life because of something. That's how I feel with different connections that I have. Even people with bad connections, you have bad connections because of something. New universe wants you to learn something from them. That's why.
Yeah, I heard a quote or something that said basically, people above you would have no reason to make fun of you. So anyone making fun of you typically is going to be under you, in the sense that if they were above you, they'd have nothing to worry about whatever statement or plans you have. But if someone's kind of poking fun or attacking you, it's a term inside of their jealousy that kind of helps them rise by feel like pushing you back down. And so, like we're saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a lot of respect from you, a lot of people like Carlos. I always repeat, his phrase, your phrase. Patrick, and Jason, other people. I can't even Rick Talman, Ralph, people that I can't even endless names, that have affected me because of our tint, industry and people that we communicate with. It's like I hold things, like I said, I'm a leech. I basically will watch something and I will absorb it. If it's bad energy, that's why I like to, kind of like, if it's bad energy, I recognize what it is and I will cut it off because it affects me in that manner. It's like that whole thing where it's like people influence you either, in a bad way or in a good way. It's like you choose it wisely.
Yep. You're the average.
And you being, And you being one of those. Okay, so yeah, so oh my God, Erik, it's been a wild conversation, and I didn't to keep track of time, but that's how wonderful this conversation has been. I always admire you. I love you for being who you are, and the I don't know 80-50% that you show, who you truly are with our tent, community and stuff like that. Like I love it. I absorb your energy, and like I've said, I always connect with people with positive energy that I can truly learn from. And people with the whole negative energy, I like to kind of cut them off. But with you, it's like, we love you. Everybody love you. And if they don't, it's like, they have some shit with me. It's like, I can't, if you can't love Erik and you have some negative thing to say about Erik, we can't be friends. That's how
the feeling's mutual with you and Dave, and I really appreciate both of your friendships and the chance to get to know you and chance to be on this. And I can't wait for a couple of weeks from now when we all get to hang out for a few days straight.
All right, thank you, everyone. So we have our winner too, and we'll set that up to send him a message to get his information.
So message me. Who was it?
Johnny Blades.
Johnny Blades. Message me, and then I will get that cup sent out to you.
Everybody have a good night, right?
Yeah. Have a good night. This was fabulous having Erik on. We love you, Erik. Like I said, anybody that don't like Erik, I don't like you.
All right, good night.
So